Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Learn about smart betting strategies with AnyBet. Bet wisely, enjoy responsibly, and maximize your success. The temperature by AnyBet is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, visa applicants from countries with high overstay rates in the United States may soon be required to post a bond of $5,000 to $15,000.
This is under a new pilot program being prepared by the U.S. State Department.
Prominent constitutional attorney Dr. Lloyd Barnett has renewed his call for Jamaica to decisively move away from the British monarchy.
Mark Golding says a future PNP government will bring forward legislation to impeach parliamentarians and public officials.
Darrell Vaz urging Labourites not to be distracted by the controversy surrounding the Prime Minister's finances.
In news from the rest of the world, the Trinidad police arrest suspect in plot to assassinate 2 defense attorneys.
Donald Trump is threatening India with a substantial tariff hike for buying Russian oil.
In headline sports, Jamaica makes winning start to CONCACAF Under-15 Football Championships in Aruba.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, the United States State Department is preparing a controversial 12-month visa bond pilot that could affect foreign nationals, potentially including Jamaicans, who are applying for temporary business and tourism visas. That's the B1 and B2 visas. Immigration attorney Opal Lee will join us.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, will your perception of the party leaders influence how you vote? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, the PNP president, Mark Golding, says his government will push forward with legislation to impeach parliamentarians and public officials, one of the promises the governing JLP failed to deliver from its 2016 manifesto. Constitutional attorney Shane Darling and MP for South St. Catherine Fitzjackson will join us.
At 7, it's the Race to 32 in Bites, where we'll bring you the best bits of the political hustings over the weekend.
My Jamaican family, the time is drawing near.
an election day when they come, no care nobody for them.
You'll hear more.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Monday afternoon, it's Monday, August 4, 2025.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. The U.S. State Department is preparing a controversial 12-month visa bond pilot program that could affect foreign nationals, including Jamaicans, who are applying for temporary business or tourism visas B1, B2. Under the new policy, visa applicants from countries with high overstay rates may be required to post a refundable bond of $5,000 to $15,000 as a conditioning for obtaining the U.S. visa. This could be a significant financial burden for many Jamaicans seeking to travel to the United States. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
While the final list of countries covered by the program has not been released, officials say it will be announced at least 15 days before implementation. According to a recent report from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, countries with high visa overstay rates in fiscal year 2023 included Haiti, Chad, Laos, and the Congo. However, the list is subject to change during the pilot. Though Jamaica was not explicitly named in the DHS report, concerns are mounting that it could be added to the list depending on overstay trends. Jamaica has a long-standing visa relationship with the U.S., and thousands of Jamaicans travel annually for tourism, family visits, and business purposes. The visa bond, which is refundable if the traveler leaves the US before their authorized stay expires, is being introduced as part of an executive order issued by US President Donald Trump. The program aims to reduce visa overstays and encourage countries to enhance identity verification and border control. In addition to the bond requirement, many visitors will soon face a $250 visa integrity fee as part of a tax spending bill signed into law in 2025. Travel industry advocates warn that such measures could discourage legitimate travel and harm tourism-dependent economies. The visa bond is scheduled to run through August 2026 and will apply to travelers under the Visa Waiver Program, which excludes Jamaica. The State Department says the bond requirement will apply only to select B1 and B2 visa applicants from designated countries. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Prominent constitutional attorney Dr. Lloyd Barnett has renewed his call for Jamaica to decisively move away from the British monarchy. He described the current constitutional arrangement as inconsistent with the nation's identity, aspirations, and dignity, having endured more than 60 years of independence. In a statement echoing both poetic conviction and legal urgency, Dr. Barnett likened the nation's constitutional makeup to a living body. Shalois Michael tells us more.
According to the legal luminary, the composition of Jamaica's body politic is the spine of the courage and sacrifices of its national heroes and freedom fighters. The nation's organs are composed of its missionaries, icons, and celebrities, the blood of its people's aspirations and self-determination. Its thick skin of resilience and fortitude is now all covered by the outer layer of an imperial monarchy. Dr. Barnett says the nation must join together in a process of transformation by the removal of the imperial outer layer. He says there is no reason that is consistent with Jamaica's national identity and pride that should further delay this process of transformation. The message forms part of the nation's emancipation and independence celebrations. It also follows a constitutional reform process which has stalled due to the withdrawal of the PNP due to concerns over Jamaica's final appellate court. Dr. Barnett, a long-time advocate and republicanism, urged Jamaicans to combine all their hopes and aspirations in carrying forward the desired reconstruction and transformation. He calls the monarchy's retention an outdated symbol that no longer aligns with the country's democratic maturity. Dr. Barnett's message adds to the growing chorus of influential voices, urging the nation to complete the journey it began in 1962 by finally removing the British crown as its head of state. Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
Opposition leader Mark Golding says a future PNP government will bring forward legislation to impeach parliamentarians and public officials. He says the JLP government has been dragging its feet on a motion he tabled in 2021.
Impeachment? We're going to come with impeachment. I brought the impeachment bill back to Parliament with some modifications 3 years ago, and the government has done nothing with it. And we can't pass it because we are in the minority in the Parliament. They have done nothing about it, even though it was a manifesto promise from 2016 of Andrew Holness. I dusted it off and set it up a little differently so it would cover a wider range of terrible acts.
Golding was addressing comrades at a party meeting in Westmoreland over the weekend. As part of his campaign in 2016, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness promised to table impeachment legislation within his first 100 days in office. It's a promise that has not been kept. Golding brought it to the fore after the JLP's George Wright was embroiled in an alleged physical assault controversy. The impeachment proposal was rejected by the Constitutional Reform Committee. The committee noted the difficulty for someone so charged to receive a fair and impartial hearing due to the partisan nature of Jamaican politics. But Mr. Golding says in addition to impeachment, changes will also be made to the Integrity Commission's gag clause.
We are going to modify the gag clause, which now exists, where persons under investigation, you can't know about it until the final report reaches Parliament. So right now in this coming election, there are going to be a number of candidates who are under investigation for corruption offences and nobody don't know who they are. That cannot be right. We are going to change that when we form government.
Mark Golding, the PNP president.
MP for West Portland, the JLP's Darrell Vaz, has urged Labourites not to be distracted by the controversy surrounding the finances of Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. Vaz, who's also the country's transport minister, says the PNP is deploying a playbook it first used against Holness nearly 10 years ago.
We not stop bun the bad mind them. So I said to you, don't get distracted when you see them have headline in a newspaper about our party leader. Because it's the same playbook in 2016 when them bad mind him over him house. Now them are bad mind him over little money. They are wicked and evil, and we're going to deal with them come election whenever that day is announced.
Darrell Vaz, MP for West Portland. Reports have emerged alleging the Prime Minister's net worth moved from $350,000 to $160 million over 2 decades. That's an approximate growth of $6 million per year. The Integrity Commission is demanding that Holness disclose the source of the funds. But the Prime Minister has maintained he has provided all the necessary information required by the anti-corruption body. Holness statutory declarations dating back to 2021 remain uncertified.
Former PNP General Secretary Maxine Henry Wilson says questions about Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness's finances are fair game in an election campaign. She was reacting to criticism that Holness has been the subject of relentless character assassination arising from the non-certification of his statutory declarations. But she says members of the PNP have also faced strident criticism.
When we talk about attack on people's character, right? We have spoken about people's race. We have spoken about where people come from. We have spoken about people's fathers and who they are. And I hope we have the same approach in terms of the defense of those people who have been the object of that kind of, not bantering, but character assassination. So let's take that off of the platform. I agree with you. But there is legitimate comment about a person's public office and how they hold that office. It must be a part of the discussion that we're having.
Prime Minister Holness has responded to criticisms from the PNP regarding his suitability to lead Jamaica amid his legal battle with the Integrity Commission. The Prime Minister says some in the PNP have behaved as if they are entitled to lead Jamaica. Mrs. Henry Wilson believes the narrative is inaccurate.
Let me say 2 things.
Yes.
One, political banter has always been a part of the narrative. And in your case, you say, what about the other pronouncements that have been made about who the leader is from a long time? So you see how long ago it is? And it was as a result of the election victory over the period of time. Nobody never said anybody was not contest any election. We have never disputed the right of people to contest elections. We have never come up with any rule that says if you do this or if you do that, except for what is in the law. So I don't know how it can be against the PNP that it says Jamaica is PNP country. It's a part of the banter, and it's now becoming a part of some kind of empirical evidence that the PNP doesn't want anybody else.
Maxine Henry Wilson, former PNP General Secretary. She was speaking on Cliff Hughes Online today.
Member of Parliament for South East St. Catherine, the JLP's Robert Miller, says he has done far more for the constituency in the last 5 years than the opposition PNP has done in the last 4 decades. Miller made the declaration at the launch of his campaign for a second term at the helm of the constituency. Khalesia Wright reports.
The JLP's Robert Miller is confident he will be returned for a second term in Southeast St. Catherine. According to him, he stands on a record of achievements.
While campaigning, I would have heard the cries of the people, knowing for a fact the issues that plague Southeast St. Catherine. I can proudly say in the 5 years that I've been Member of Parliament in Southeast St. Catherine, I've done far more than the 30 odd years that the opposition had reign of this constituency of Southeast St. Catherine. The facts are there. The records are there to prove.
The first-term MP outlined what he says are his achievements over the last 5 years.
When I speak about education, we spoke about the Youth Information Center earlier that was reopened under my stewardship. We spoke about the Bridgeport High School, which of a fact, a new block with 11 classrooms plus staff room, bathroom, etc. was built through the Ministry of Education, and the school was taken off the shift system since last year, September. A child met his demise at the Bridgeport Primary School, and we lobbied, and the fencing around the Bridgeport Primary School was erected and should complete soon. I have been on the job. I have been doing my work. When they talk about Wi-Fi, community Wi-Fi, there have been 5 in the constituency, along with 1 public Wi-Fi at Portmore Mall. We have given everyone connectivity.
In an apparent jab at his opponent, Dr. Alfred Dawes, Miller says he is accessible to his constituents.
I can not only be found on TikTok. I am here in person, accessible to my people. And we have to ask a question. Are some of us serious about representing the people at the local level? Or are we serious in our perception and our worldview of becoming a Minister of Health? I'll put that question out there, but I'll ask, what are you taking to the table? Are you taking gimmickry? Are you taking the people for granted? Can you be trusted? And I'll ask the citizens, can you trust this person to represent you? You are sure in your minds that you can trust Robert Big Rob Miller.
Khaleesi Wright for Nationwide News.
In the race to 32, facts matter.
Did you know that the constituency of Southwest St. Andrew became a PNP stronghold in 1976? Yes, that's a fact. The JLP had a winning streak in the constituency, taking the general elections of 1959, 1962, 1967, and 1972. The streak was broken by the PNP in 1976, when the then Portia Simpson beat the JLP's Joseph McPherson by more than 9,000 votes. The JLP retook control of the seat in the 1983 polls, which was boycotted by the PNP. 6 years later, in 1989, Portia struck again, winning the seat for the PNP and holding it until 2017 when she retired from representational politics. The constituency is among the safest PNP seats in the country and is now led by Dr. Angela Brown Burke.
This nationwide Did You Know fact is part of our coverage for the race to 32 as we preview the next general election.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
It's IQ Optical's sizzling summer sale. For this month only, get 50% off lenses when you purchase a frame. Kids get free lenses with a purchase of a frame. Make the intelligent choice with IQ Optical. Conditions apply. The time by IQ Optical is...
It's 17 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay.
GPS! Keep it cool, keep it cool. Summertime hot, but we have all the tools. Keep it cool, keep it cool. Enough ways to see it, you just have to choose. Stay out of the fridge, just use a igloo. Remember your Kisco ice and the juice. The fan AC combo, yeah, I hit that. AC for a bit, then a fan after that. Keep it cool, keep it cool. This summer JPS have all the tools. Keep you cool with JPS. Download the JPS app today.
Continuing the news. The police seized $150 million worth of cocaine during a pre-dawn operation in Hanover on Sunday. The JCF's Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch, CTOC, says 1,000 parcels of the illicit drugs was seized. No arrests were made in connection with the seizure, but the police say strong leads are being pursued to apprehend those involved. Acting SSP Victor Barrett of CTOC says the operation is part of a larger effort to target transnational crime syndicates. SSP Barrett says several key individuals linked to the syndicate have already been identified. He noted that CTOC continues to implement the focused deterrence strategy established by the police high command to target the major players in the drug rings. The police are urging the public to report any suspicious activities by contacting CTOC, the National Intelligence Bureau, at 811, Crime Stop at 311, the police emergency number at 119, or the nearest police station.
is a nationwide election nugget.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Michael Holness has already made history. He's the youngest person ever appointed Prime Minister at the age of 39. He was sworn into office on October 24, 2011. He also has the distinction of being the first Jamaican Prime Minister to be born after Jamaica's independence.
That was a nationwide election nugget.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute. The Trinidad and Tobago police arrested a man on Sunday for allegedly plotting the assassination of 2 defense attorneys. It comes just hours after the police service warned the 2 attorneys that their lives were in danger. The suspect is described as the right-hand associate of a detainee currently being held at a Defense Force base in Trinidad. He was found with a weapon allegedly intended to kill the 2 attorneys. The dramatic revelation was made by the country's police commissioner in a voice recording sent to the media. The arrest adds a new layer to ongoing concerns about security challenges posed by high-profile detainees following the imposition of a state of emergency on July 18. The police commissioner said the original threat that triggered the SOE has now been neutralized.
U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to substantially raise tariffs against India over its purchase of oil from Russia. Trump gave the warning in a post on his online platform Truth Social today. India is currently among the largest buyers of Russian oil. It has become an important export market for Moscow after several European countries cut trade when Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine 3 years ago. Trump did not specify what the new tariff would be, but it comes just days after he unveiled a hefty 25% levy on India. Delhi called Trump's warning unjustified and unreasonable. India also criticized the United States for introducing the tariffs, as the U.S. itself is still conducting trade with Russia.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, visa applicants from countries with high overstay rates in the United States may soon be required to post a refundable bond of up to $15,000.
This under a new pilot program being prepared by the U.S. State Department.
Prominent constitutional attorney Lloyd Barnett has renewed his call for Jamaica to leave the British monarchy.
Mark Golding says a future PNP government will bring forward legislation to impeach parliamentarians and public officials.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Roby Ann Williams.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next. The headlines at 6.
Now, PrEP makes it so easy. One pill before you link, prevent HIV.
PrEP makes it so easy. One pill before you link, prevent HIV.
You want to do your thing with your queen or your king?
Or I get a little frisky that make you flex risky.
PrEP, I extra bucketed.
To help you stay HIV negative.
PrEP makes it so easy. One pill before you link, prevent HIV. PrEP tablets available at your clinic from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wade Walker. Jamaica's national men's under-15 football team opened their account at the CONCACAF Championships with a commanding 2-0 win over Belize in their Group D clash on Monday. The young Reggae Boys took the lead with just a minute into the game through Kevon Holloway of Wolmer's Boys. Carlando Morris of Cornwall College made the game safe on 38 minutes.
Looking for Glenn, but Spence gets it clear. Now Jamaica could be in up the other end. Great early ball across, and it's 2-0. Now talk about an instant impact. Carlondo Morris doubles Jamaica's lead. And just as they did at the beginning of the first half, Jamaica have an early goal here in the second half.
Jamaica will next be in action on Tuesday. They take on the host Aruba at 1 o'clock Jamaica time. West Indies white ball captain Shai Hope admits it was tough losing Sunday's third T20 international to Pakistan. The Caribbean men went down by 13 runs at Lauderhill in Florida, which helped the tourists to secure the series 2-1. Sahib Sadar Farhan, 74, and Saib Ayun, 66, shared in a 138-run opening stand to set Pakistan on their way to 189 for 4 in the 20 overs. There was a wicket apiece to Jason Holder, Shamar Joseph, and Roston Chase. The Windies' reply was electric. They scored 33 of the first 2 overs, but they just could not maintain that momentum. They ended in 176 for 6. Hope found it difficult to explain why the regional side continued to be inconsistent despite having some of the best T20 players in the world.
If I had the answers, we would be winning all the time. So that's the honest answer right now. But it's just one of those things, like you're playing in franchises, you guess you're getting information, you're gaining experience, but regardless of what's happening, you got to come and do it for the region. It's something that we haven't been doing. The reality is reality. But like I said, if I have the answers, then we would be winning. It's just not happening for us.
The teams will now fly into the Caribbean this week for the start of a 3-match one-day international series. The first game Friday at the Brian Lara Stadium in Couva. And Hope says the players need to adjust to the conditions very quickly.
Every single place we play in the Caribbean or, well, here, for example, in the US, conditions are so different. So the first thing we need to do is assess, see what's best plans to formulate for that particular surface, the wind conditions, all these things we got to take into account. But you know they're going to bowl a lot of spin at us, and the way how we negate those spinners in the middle overs is going to be very crucial for us as batters. And same thing with the ball, we got to find ways to keep making inroads in the same middle overs. So start with the power play and try to put them under pressure early, and then just try to keep taking wickets through the innings and limit their bleeding in the middle.
West Indies white ball captain Shai Hope. India pulled off a dramatic 6-run win over England at the Oval on the last day of the 5th and final test to end the series 2-2, chasing a target of 374. England at one stage were cruising. The 195-run partnership between Joe Root and Harry Brook had them really in the box seat. Root in the end ended with 105 and Brook 111, and England were dismissed for 367. Mohammad Siraj was the star of the show. He bagged 5 for 104, and Prasid Krishna bagged 4 for 126.
And would you believe it? It is Mohammad Siraj, the lion-hearted Siraj, who has led this attack throughout. He finishes the game. It is a famous win for India. This series is tied 2 apiece. All yours, Ravi.
5-wicket haul for a champion.
India's captain Shubman Gill was voted player of the series for his 754 runs. He also scored 4 centuries. The 2025 Suncor Super Netball League season in Australia ended in disappointment for 3 of Jamaica's Sunshine Girls, who were on the losing end in the championship final at the weekend. The West Coast Fever, with national captain Janelle Fowler-Nemhard, Katie and Dehaney, and Shanice Beckford, lost narrowly 59-58 to the Melbourne Vixens at the Rod Laver Arena. Fowler-Nemhard was in superb form. She scored a perfect 50 goals from as many attempts, while Beckford had 4 goals and 10 assists. Former assistant coach of the national senior women's team, Winston Nevers, says despite the defeat, the ladies had a good season.
Very, very much impressive, because from the start I've been watching the league, and to me the league set in a way where you see some of the best netball play in the world, yes? And when they played, you can see our players, our players meaning Jamaican, they continue to dominate right through, because for us to reach the semi-final and final, it is a great effort they put out.
And Nevers is expecting more Jamaicans to join the Suncor Super League, given what he saw from the Jamaicans this season.
We need more people to go down there to get some more experience, like the Fowler, like Romelda Hakins and Shamira Sterling and those girls. Overall, when you look at the league itself brings us bring our player up to standard. And that is the reason why we want more to go down there to see if we can get to this high standard as a New Zealand and Australia to really beat them when it comes to the right time.
That's Winston Scrappy Nevers, a coach from many teams. Yeah. All right, that will do it for sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Cubby's Baby Wipes is ideal for your baby's delicate skin, infused with vitamin E and aloe vera, and available for home or on the go. The time by Cubby's Baby Wipes is
5:30.
From Kingston to the world, from Montego Bay to new adventures, and from Ocherias to endless possibilities. Wherever you're headed, we will proudly take you there. Jamaica's Airport, your global gateway. The temperature brought to you by the Airports Authority of Jamaica is
31 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 28 in the western city, Montego Bay.
This Immense Independence celebrate right here at home with luxury, love, and pure Jamaican vibes at Couples Resorts. Feel the sea breeze, savor local flavors, and sip top-shelf cocktails. Rediscover your island your way from $2.99 US per night plus $50 US resort credit. Couples Resort, 100% Jamaican, no passport required. To book, visit couples.com/residence. Conditions apply.
Outperform, outlast. With top performance. Jackama. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electricians. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-61114. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
In Jamaica, your rights are protected by our Constitution. From the right to education to freedom of expression, every citizen deserves respect and dignity. But remember, with rights come responsibilities. Let's uplift and respect each other and stand against injustice. Together, we can make Jamaica a better place for ourselves and future generations. Know your rights. Embrace your responsibilities. This message was brought to you by the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
This Immense Independence celebrate right here at home with luxury, love, and pure Jamaican vibes at Couples Resorts. Feel the sea breeze, savor local flavors, and sip top-shelf cocktails. Rediscover your island your way from $2.99 US per night plus $50 US resort credit. Couples Resort, 100% Jamaican, no passport required. To book, visit couples.com/residence. Conditions apply.
Big news for Anchovy St. James. The community now has a brand new police station. Tune in to Cliff Views Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Tuesday, August 5 for all the excitement. After operating from the local post office, officers finally have a home to serve. Anchovy, Farm Heights, and Pitford phases 1 to 3. This marks the 5th newly constructed station, opened in 2025 as part of the JCF's ongoing transformation. A safer, stronger Anchovy starts right here. It's all going down on Tuesday, August 4 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. during Cliff Views Online. It's the opening of the Anchovy Police Station. Catch the live stream on our YouTube channel and Nationwide 90 FM Live too. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of National Security.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Multilink, access every time, everywhere I go. Multilink, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multilink. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere, spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multilink logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multilink, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multilink?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
Good afternoon, listeners. Good afternoon, Cliff. My name is Ricardo Brooks. A special good afternoon to you if you're joining us on YouTube or on the website or even on the app. Welcome.
Good. Well, in our cover story this afternoon, the U.S. State Department is preparing a controversial 12-month visa bond pilot program that could affect foreign nationals, including Jamaicans, who are applying for temporary business or tourism visas, known as B1 and B2. Under the new policy, visa applicants from countries with high overstay rates may be required to post a refundable bond of $5,000 to $15,000 as a condition for obtaining the visa.
Now, as you can imagine, listeners, that would be a significant financial burden for many Jamaicans who are seeking to travel to the United States. Siobhan Campbell has more.
While the final list of countries covered by the program has not been released, officials say it will be announced at least 15 days before implementation. According to a recent report from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, countries with high visa overstay rates in fiscal year 2023 included Haiti, Chad, Laos, and the Congo. However, the list is subject to change during the pilot. Though Jamaica was not explicitly named in the DHS report, concerns are mounting that it could be added to the list depending on overstay trends. Jamaica has a long-standing visa relationship with the U.S., and thousands of Jamaicans travel annually for tourism, family visits, and business purposes. The visa bond, which is refundable if the traveler leaves the U.S. before their authorized stay expires, is being introduced as part of an executive order issued by U.S. President Donald Trump. The program aims to reduce visa overstays and encourage countries to enhance identity verification and border control. In addition to the bond requirement, many visitors will soon face a $250 visa integrity fee as part of a tax spending bill signed into law in 2025. Travel industry advocates warn that such measures could discourage legitimate travel and harm tourism-dependent economies. The visa bond is scheduled to run through August 2026 and will apply to travelers under the Visa Waiver Program, which excludes Jamaica. The State Department says the bond requirement will apply only to select B1 and B2 visa applicants from designated countries. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Thanks, Siobhan. Joining us now to discuss further, we have immigration attorney Opal Lee and attorney at law at the Golding Law Group, Wayne Golding. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ricardo. Good afternoon, Cliff. Good afternoon, Wayne. Good afternoon to, of course, your wonderful and loyal listeners.
Thank you so much for joining us. Opal Lee, let me start with you. Do Jamaicans have anything to worry about?
If I'm going to take a calculated guess, I would say no at this time. And I'm hoping, certain people are not hearing and will target us. But the reason why I say this is because in the last travel ban that went into effect back in June of this year, the administration actually set up a few countries why they actually did either the permanent ban or the temporary ban. And the ones that were listed for visa overstays included, for example, Haiti, Burma, Burundi, Chad, the Republic of Congo. They also had Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, Guinea. So you see the trend. There's a lot of the African countries I'm seeing. So Jamaica was not on the travel ban. Jamaica was not, even though we may have a lot of overstay, I don't think we have so many, I'm going to say, to really trigger this. Or I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Let's say I'm trying to be positive here for the Jamaicans.
Mr. Golding, do you share that view? Do Jamaicans have cause to be worried?
Well, under the standard that they're setting as far as why they're instituting this bond, Jamaica is not very high on the list of overstay, but it's very subjective because I would say the State Department can move at any time to change what their policy is as far as this particular measure that they're trying to implement. So I do not think Jamaica will be included. However, I'm cautiously pessimistic because one incident can cause them to trigger this sort of regulation, and it will affect Jamaicans in more than one way. But just to note, this is a proposal that's not coming out of a law that's passed. Mm-hmm. You know, this is a policy program that they're implementing, and as usual, policies can be changed overnight.
Opal Lee, when I look at the immigration landscape now in the United States, one gets the distinct impression that people of a particular hue are being targeted, particular racial background, particular countries. As you said, African countries predominate on that list. What's the sense in the country like now that the Trump administration is going after countries or people of a particular race or racial background?
It is a fact. You've actually hit the nail on its head. And as immigration practitioners, you know, I speak with my colleagues, and this is what we're seeing. You'll see a lot of ICE raids, for example, and only certain people of certain hue, as you put it, are being targeted. For example, we see black and brown people. We see a lot of Hispanics in the raids, and we see a lot of darker skinned people. We know for a fact that there are a huge amount of Europeans who have overstayed in this country and right now who have no status. However, we don't see any of those raids or any of those raids, Cliff, or it's just not in the media. But I don't see that happening.
Mr. Golding? Yeah.
Well, you know, on the same question, the same issue, it is absolutely clear without contravention or contradiction that black and brown are being targeted to the extent that even black and brown people who are U.S. citizens are now caught up in detention, are being held for days and days until they can prove their actual status. And the stories are becoming more and more prevalent as you look across the legal landscape, you know, and what is being dealt with. There's now a movement that's going on to start filing lawsuits against these kinds of illegal detention. But the fact is that they are targeting people from certain countries, people of a certain color, people who speak a certain language, people with accents, you know, other than who they have on a list. They are definitely out there because you don't see this happening in communities that are Anglo-looking. You're not seeing that. You're not seeing it in workplaces that are frequent by folks who are Anglo-looking. You are just seeing it targeted, and the numbers are speaking for themselves.
Yeah. And Opal, I suppose then I have two questions, because obviously there's the matter of the economic impact. Yeah. When we talk about, for example, Hispanics, we're talking about people who work on farms and that kind of a thing. And I've seen the raids, videos of the raids on farms and that kind of a thing. But also how it complicates your job as an immigration attorney, because it seems the federal government is trying to find every way of going around established due process norms. In frustrating your efforts as immigration attorneys?
Absolutely. I'll give you a perfect example. Usually, you know, before this administration, if you are married, for example, to a United States citizen and you entered lawfully and you're just a mere visa overstay, being an overstay would not, that inadmissibility would not work against you. You should have no problem adjusting. Now, with the current climate, I was shocked to just see something today where somebody who is married to a U.S. citizen hasn't overstayed, his visa has been overstayed for 9 years. He was just, no criminal records, I should say, and he was just traveling and he was taken into custody by ICE when he was just going to the supermarket, and he was stopped and they see that, and he had his paperwork because his wife was a U.S. citizen and actually in the medical field I'd advise him to make sure he has his travel his documents. So he had his documents showing that his I-130, I-45 was pending. And guess what? They said they don't care. And so that person is now in custody. And I'm pretty sure his attorney will have to now work on a bond, which he should be able to get a bond since he has been here for 9 years. But the thing is, now my clients or people are calling me now. One of the questions they're asking is that, Ms. Lee, I don't have any criminal record. I am married to a U.S. citizen. Should I come and give you my money and go start the process? Can you assure me that I'm not going to be taken into custody? Or can you assure me that I'm not going to be taken into, or my file is not going to be transferred to an immigration judge?
And you can't give that assurance.
Cliff. Correct. Cliff and Ricardo, I can't. So now that funds, they have it. They don't have any violations other than that immigration violation. And usually they would just come, pay. And so a lot of clients are just wary at this point and just in hiding and said, you know what? I'll just wait because they're hopeful maybe, next 3 years or so run off and they're hoping a change in administration or something will happen. So they're just going to be under the fight. So I think, and I've seen with a lot of I speak with in my groups and with other fellow attorneys, and they're saying they're feeling the pinch because some people are saying, listen, whether I have an attorney or not, I prefer to hold back because they see that this administration, and Wayne said it properly just now, where he's saying that they're just, the new administration, they think they're above the law. So a lot of these things that we're fighting against, they're not doing it by the books or by legal, so they're just doing it. So a lot of times we can't assure clients, but we know we'll fight for them. We'll challenge them. It's just going to be very costly.
Hold it for us, Opa Lee. We're up on a break. We're going to take the break and come back with you.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
14 minutes to 6.
Tell them cut the plastic.
See our one country we have, and we have to preserve it for future generation. The government had to feed them part with phase 4 of the ban on single-use plastic. That mean me won't get me lunch in a plastic container, and me so gonna stop use certain cosmetic personal care items. Boy, big changes. But we want me picking them to enjoy this country, so me go all in a phase 4. Support the ban.
A message from the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation.
Burn Shack fried chicken always ready.
Burn Shack, original crispy. Burn Shack, Cajun spicy. Burn Shack, a barbecue. Burn Shack, we are going Burn Shack.
The temperature brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken in Montego Bay and Ocho is...
It's 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 28 out. Well, it's 28 in Ocho Rios.
Plug into the sun with Peak Energy Solutions. We are your affordable provider for everything solar. Grid tie or off-grid solar P systems, solar air conditioners, panels, lithium batteries, solar supplies, and installation. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hills, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
12 minutes going up to 6 o'clock. We're inside the cover story looking at an immigration issue that is developing. We're learning that the Trump administration is considering a new policy where it's preparing a 12-month visa bond pilot program that could affect foreign nationals, including Jamaicans, who are applying for temporary business or tourism visas, popularly known as B1 and B2 visas. Under the policy being considered, applicants from countries with high overstay rates may be required to post a refundable bond of between $5,000 and $15,000 as a condition for obtaining a visa. At the top end, $15,000 in Jamaican money is about $2 million plus. $5,000, about 600,000 Jamaican dollars. We have two immigration attorneys to discuss the issue with us this afternoon. We have Opa Lee as well as attorney with Golding Law Group, Wayne Golding. I want to ask you, Wayne Golding, should we be surprised by this? This is the same administration led by a man who says, we want to stop certain people from certain SOL countries from visiting America. Isn't he being consistent? Hasn't he told us all, that this is where he's going?
Absolutely. I am not surprised, and I fully expect more things to come down the chain, because you do have a lot of people who consider immigrants, the lowest hanging fruit for political reasons. And they have often abused immigrants in this country, from those kids who were granted DACA to people who are coming in and contributing to this country. The history of this country shows the value of immigrants. But, that doesn't matter to them. They're going to come up with all kinds of new changes in proposal. And one of the things that Ms. Lee mentioned was this new shift wherein a person who's applying to adjust their status, that's the only violation they have of a civil law, not a criminal law. Immigration violations or civil violations are now being subject to being detained, which is something new on the spectrum, because usually, they are just waiting for the green cards to be issued. But now there's a change where they're saying, well, we still consider you being in the country illegally if you have overstayed and you have not been granted your green card yet, although you're in processing. And I think one of the issues that we're having as litigants in far immigration law is concerned, immigration lawyers, is that you're going to court and you don't know if the judges are going to stick to the guardrails that are established, because we are hearing more and more where judges are in fear for their jobs. Over 100 judges have been either removed or transferred by this administration for no reason at all given. And some of these judges have spoken out of being pressured to rule in a certain way. And that is a fear that we are having as lawyers, that the guardrails, the due process guardrails that were established are now being wiped away summarily with no challenges.
Mm-hmm. And openly, you said some people are, hoping to essentially stay in hiding for the next, 3 years, 3.5 years, to try to hold it out and hope that there's a change when the tenure of the sitting president ends. But is that really feasible, though?
I don't think so. And let me tell you, those people who have asked me to guarantee, even though I cannot guarantee, I tell them, listen, at this point, they've already overstayed. They had a lawful entry. My suggestion is go ahead and proceed. Because the thing is that if you don't proceed, and let's say you think you're in hiding, and we all see what has been happening, ICE can still get you one way or the other. I don't see anybody locking in their house for the next 3.5 years, as we put it. So let's say that chance, and you are now taken into detention, right? You're detained, and you did nothing because you were fearful. So you, even though you're married to a U.S. citizen, you sat there, you did not file an I-130, so you have nothing pending. That's worse, because at least if you had filed something, now you have something. If they had, taken into custody, when you go to an immigration attorney, like myself or Mr. Golden, we will now be able to tell the judge, guess what? My client has such and such pending. Here's the receipt number, or at least I-130 has been pending. We have something. So it's better to go with that than to then go to the judge and say, well, judge, I know she's, my client is married to a U.S. citizen, but they're unfaithful. They didn't do anything. They're just a girlfriend or a boyfriend and nothing. That's going to be a hard task, Cliff, because that now will be sure to get you removed much faster.
And did I hear you correctly that he does not need congressional approval for this?
No, they don't. It's a policy that's coming from the president's desk to the State Department. It's not something that Congress passed, like for example, the fee that they have on visas that they're going to be establishing as of October moving forward. That was under the big, beautiful bill that was passed and signed by the president. This is more of a policy change, and it's subject to revision by the Department of State, Homeland Security, they can readjust these fees. They can add countries to the list. And one thing people have to realize is that Congress essentially has ceded a lot of power when it comes on to immigration policy to the administration. The other thing I want to mention is that for those people who are in a situation where they have an adjustment application filed for them where they're hoping to get their green card through the application, is I say keep your head low, although you're filed, and understand that these judges now, if you get caught up in the situation of being detained, these judges can deny bond for a simple traffic ticket that you've had in the past. I'm seeing it more and more. So consult with an attorney before you make any move in this situation that we're in, because things are changing daily, fluid, as we call it in the law, and you have to be on top of things. So don't be listening to all this social media stuff and whatever. Find a good immigration attorney, sit and talk with them, because trust me, everybody's case is different. There's always some nuance. So you might be listening to some other person who's not an expert in the area. Mm-hmm. And that's where some of the problem we're seeing that is coming about with people who are in processing.
And Opali, despite the difficulties, you can be assured that there are Jamaicans who are still thinking, mega chance it. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the United States and I'm gonna take the chance. What's your advice to them this afternoon?
Don't try exactly. I will echo just now what Mr. Golden says. Don't think gone are the days where people think immigration is just form filling. That is not true, guys. It is not form filling. One of the gravest mistakes you can make is by thinking, let me just fill out this form and go ahead and submit it. Because now, it's going to be much difficult if after you're detained to then go ahead and retain an attorney. I can guarantee, my fees, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Golden's fees are going to go up more if you're now behind bars. So get an attorney when you're doing this. And if you can, just lay low, as, just don't go unnecessary parties and, do unnecessary things. Just please lay low until you've received that green card. Because I must say this, not because you have an immigrant petition filed or I-130 pending, that is not lawful status. That can still get you in detention and also can get you removed and before the judge. So don't think that because you have a work permit or because you have an I-130 and an I-485 pending, that is not a lawful status. So still lay low. If you can, let your friends drive. If you don't have a driver's license, do not chance it. Use one of those rideshare systems and just lay low until you get that green card.
And for the Jamaicans here who are thinking of running off, what do you say to them? Because some people plan it in advance, Opali.
Yes. Well, now it's definitely
integrity fee.
Well, that won't dissuade some people or be a deterrent. The fees that are being charged, even if it's $100,000, you do have those people who, regardless of what the cost is. And I think they're thinking that with the posting of the bond, it may deter those people who are desperate to come to the United States. It may deter some, but not all. But one thing we will say to those folks who find themselves in an immigration custody situation or being detained is, as we used to say, keep your tongue warm by keeping your mouth shut. You understand? So don't go thinking you can plead your case to a deportation officer or whatever. You will have to see a judge. And you have to have proper legal representation because they're taking extraordinary measures, including dismissing cases, so they can deport people expeditiously. So please, I'm asking our community at large, stay within the guidelines of the law. If you're outside of the guidelines, please seek proper legal advice in moving forward with your case.
And real quick.
Because frankly, some people would benefit them for actually being caught up in immigration court instead of being out and about.
Mm-hmm.
I want to slip something in real quick before we go.
Yes.
There's also a saying that what your right hand know, don't let your left hand know. I think our Jamaicans and everybody, you need to just keep your mouth shut. Do not even let your friends, I was going to say don't even let your partner, but don't let your friends, certain family members, because one of the things that we're seeing is your own friends and people who you're falling out with, they're anonymously reporting. You might say, you know what, Cliff is over there, you know, he came on the Hope stage, so please keep your mouth shut, really and truly. Nobody needs to know you overstayed, but only your attorney. The only person that needs to know anything or discuss anything, I would go as far as say, don't even discuss this with your mother or father. I'm sorry.
Keep your tongue warm.
Keep your tongue warm. I mean, that's the best advice. And not only that, they have provided so many mediums for people to report people now. It's unbelievable how easy it is. And when they come. And they don't care what the law says, how they should behave. We're seeing so many accounts of people getting hurt, people getting detained wrongfully. You can't talk your way out of it.
Thank you very much.
Be quiet.
Making America Great Again, courtesy of Donald Trump. Wayne Golding, thank you very much. Opa Lee, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Cliff. And we're not adding the Trump tariff or legal fees. We're trying to be as reasonable as possible.
All right, sir. Good. Hear you. Time for the break.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
6:01.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Shalois Michael. Opposition leader Mark Golding says a future PNP government will bring forward legislation to impeach parliamentarians and public officials. He says the JLP government has been dragging its feet on a motion he tabled in 2021.
Impeachment? We're going to come with impeachment. I brought the impeachment bill back to Parliament with some modifications 3 years ago, and the government has done nothing with it. And we can't pass it because we are in the minority in the Parliament. They have done nothing about it, even though it was a manifesto promise from 2016 of Andrew Holness. I dusted it off and set it up a little differently so it would cover a wider range of terrible acts.
As part of his campaign in 2016, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness promised to table impeachment legislation within his first 100 days in office. It's a promise that has not been kept. Golding brought it to the fore after the JLP's George Wright was embroiled in an alleged physical assault controversy. The impeachment proposal was rejected by the Constitutional Reform Committee. Golding says in addition to impeachment, changes will also be made to the Integrity Commission's gag clause.
We are going to modify the gag clause, which now exists, where persons under investigation, you can't know about it until the final report reaches Parliament. So right now in this coming election, there are going to be a number of candidates who are under investigation for corruption offences and nobody don't know who they are. That cannot be right. We are going to change that when we form government.
Mark Golding, PNP President. MP for West Portland, the JLP's Darla Vaz, has urged the Labourites not to be distracted by the controversy surrounding the finances of Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. Vaz, who's also the country's transport minister, says the PNP is deploying a playbook it first used against Holness nearly 10 years ago.
We not stop bun the bad mind them. So I said to you, don't get distracted when you see them have headline in a newspaper about our party leader. Because it's the same playbook in 2016 when them bad mind him over him house. Now them are bad mind him over little money. They are wicked and evil, and we're going to deal with them come election whenever that day is announced.
Darla Vaz, the JLP MP.
Meanwhile, former PNP General Secretary Maxine Henry Wilson says questions about Dr. Holness's finances are fair game in an election campaign.
When we talk about attack on people's character, right? We are talking about people's race. We are talking about where people come from. We are talking about people's fathers and who they are. And I hope we have the same approach in terms of the defense of those people who have been the object of that kind of not bantering, but character assassination. So let's take that off of the platform. I agree with you. But there is legitimate comment about a person's public office and how they hold that office. It must be a part of the discussion that we're having.
Dr. Holness has responded to criticisms from the PNP regarding his suitability to lead Jamaica amid his legal battle with the Integrity Commission. The Prime Minister says some in the PNP have behaved as if they are entitled to lead Jamaica. Mrs. Henry Wilson believes the narrative is inaccurate.
Let me say two things.
Yes.
One, political banter has always been a part of the narrative. And in your case, they say, what about the other pronouncements that have been made about who the leader is from a long time? So you see how long ago it is? And it was as a result of the election victory over the period of time. Nobody never said anybody was not contest any election. We have never disputed the right of people to contest elections. We have never come up with any rule that says if you do this or if you do that, except for what is in the law. So I can't see how it can be against the PNP that it says Jamaica is PNP country. It's a part of the banter, and it's now becoming a part of some kind of empirical evidence that the PNP doesn't want anybody else.
Maxine Henry Wilson, former PNP General Secretary. Member of Parliament for South East St. Catherine, the JLP's Robert Miller, says he has done far more for the constituency in the last 5 years than the opposition PNP did in the last 4 decades. Miller made the declaration at the launch of his campaign for a second term at the helm of the constituency.
While campaigning, I would have heard the cries of the people, knowing for a fact the issues that plague Southeast St. Catherine. I can proudly say in the 5 years that I've been Member of Parliament in Southeast St. Catherine, I've done far more than the 30 odd years that the opposition had reign of this constituency of Southeast St. Catherine. The facts are there. The records are there to prove.
The first-term MP outlined what he says are his achievements over the last 5 years.
When I speak about education, we spoke about the Youth Information Center earlier that was reopened under my stewardship. We spoke about the Bridgeport High School, which of a fact a new block with 11 classrooms plus staff room, bathroom, etc. was built through the Ministry of Education, and the school was taken off the shift system since last year, September. A child met his demise at the Bridgeport Primary School, and we lobbied, and the fencing around the Bridgeport Primary School was erected and should complete soon. I have been on the job. I have been doing my work. When they talk about Wi-Fi, community Wi-Fi, there have been 5 in the constituency, along with 1 public Wi-Fi at Portmore Mall. We have given everyone connectivity.
Robert Miller, MP for Southeast St. Catherine. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Shaloy Smichael. Sports is next.
Need fast, reliable delivery? Speed Services has you covered. We offer air freight 2 times weekly and sea freight once a week. Perfect for getting your packages to Jamaica fast. Just visit speedshipja.com. That's speed with 3 E's. Need a bearer, food delivery, or local delivery for your business? Call or text 876-484-8850 and follow us on Instagram at speedshipja. That's speed with 3 E's. Speed Services, where speed meets service.
Are your devices accurate? Are they calibrated? Even small errors can lead to big problems. That's why Jamaicans trust the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From food to fuel, health to hardware, our metrology and testing division provides world-class calibration and measurement services to keep your devices
precise and your business meeting global standards. Whether you're weighing goods, monitoring temperature, or relying on the accuracy of devices, we get it right every time. Our advanced equipment and experts help you move with confidence. Call 876-618-1534 or visit bsj.org.jm. The Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From lab to market, the power of precision, powering accuracy, ensuring safety.
Truth is, HIV affects everyone. Truth is, avoiding care leads to a weaker immune system. That means you could get really sick. The truth is, the hardest pill to swallow isn't the medication. It's the problems that follow when you don't take them. Let's get through this together. Remain in care. You can live life to the fullest with HIV. And that's the truth. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
This Immense Independence celebrate right here at home with luxury, love, and pure Jamaican vibes at Couples Resort. Feel the sea breeze, savor local flavors, and sip top-shelf cocktails. Rediscover your island your way from $2.99 US per night plus $50 US resort credit. Couples Resort, 100% Jamaican, no passport required. To book, visit couples.com/residence. Conditions apply.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica's national men's under-15 football team opened their account at the CONCACAF Under-15 Championships with a commanding 2-0 win over Belize in their Group D clash on Monday. The Young Reggae boys took the lead with just a minute into the game through Kevon Holloway of Wolmer's boys. Carlondo Morris of Cornwall College made the game safe on 38 minutes.
Looking for Glenn, but Spence gets it clear. Now Jamaica could be in up the other end. Great early ball across, and it's 2-0. Now talk about an instant impact. Carlondo Morris doubles Jamaica's lead. And just as they did at the beginning of the first half, Jamaica have an early goal here in the second half.
Jamaica will next be in action on Tuesday when they face host Aruba at 1 p.m. Jamaica time. Cilicia Diamond League organizers have given track and field fans the biggest news ahead of the World Championship. They've announced that the Olympic champion, Noah Lyles, will come face-to-face with the man he beat in Paris for the Olympic gold, Kishane Thompson, on August 16. Thompson is the fastest man over 100 meters this year. His 9.75 at the Jamaican National Championship is still the standard so far this year. Lyles so far has raced just 2 times over 100 meters. He did 10 seconds on the nose at the London Diamond League, and then he did 10.05 in the first round of the US Championship before pulling out. Of course, he has 2 wild cards for the World Championship. He did win the 200 meters yesterday in 19.65, beating Kung Fu Benarek. West Indies white ball captain Shea Hope admits it was tough losing Sunday's third T20 International against Pakistan. The Caribbean men went down by 13 runs at Lauderhill in Florida. They lost the series by 2-1. Sahib Sadar Farhan, 74, and Saim Ayum, 66. They shared in a 138-run opening stand to set Pakistan on their way to 189 for 4 in their 20 overs. And Hope found it difficult to explain why the regional side continued to be inconsistent despite having some of the best T20 players in the world.
If I had the answers, we would be winning all the time. So that's the honest answer, right? But it's just one of those things, like you're playing in franchises, you guess you're getting information, you're gaining experience, but regardless of what's happening, you got to come and do it for the region. It's something that we haven't been doing. The reality is reality. But like I said, if I have the answers, then we would be winning. It's just not happening for us.
The teams will fly into the Caribbean this week for the start of the 3-match one-day international series. The first game is set for Friday at the Brian Lara Stadium in Trinidad, and Hope says they'll need to adjust to the conditions very quickly.
Every single place we play in the Caribbean or here, for example, in the US, conditions are so different. So the first thing we need to do is assess, see what's best plans to formulate for that particular surface, the wind conditions, all these things we got to take into account. But you know they're going to bowl a lot of spin at us, and the way how we negate those spinners in the middle overs is going to be very crucial for us as batters. And same thing with the ball, we got to find ways to keep making inroads in the same middle overs. So start with the power play and try to put them under pressure early, and then just try to keep taking wickets through the innings and limit their bleeding in the middle.
That's West Indies white ball captain Shea Hope. India pulled off a dramatic 6-run victory over England at the Oval on the last day of the fifth and final test to end the series 2-2, chasing a target of 374. England at one stage were cruising to victory following a 195-run partnership for the fourth wicket between Joe Root and Harry Brook, who scored 105 and 111 respectively. The Indian captain Shubman Gill was voted player of the series. He scored 754 runs, including 4 centuries. The 2025 Suncorp Super Netball League season in Australia ended in disappointment for 3 of Jamaica's Sunshine Girls, who were on the losing end in the championship final at the weekend. The West Coast Fever, with national captain Janelle Fowler-Nemhard, Katie and Dehaney, and Shanice Beckford, lost narrowly 59-58 to the Melbourne Vixens at the Rod Laver Arena. Fowler-Nemhard was in superb form, scoring a perfect 50 goals from as many attempts, while Beckford had 4 goals and 10 assists. Former assistant coach of the national senior women's team, Winston Nevers, says despite the loss, the ladies had a good season.
Very, very much impressive, because from the start I've been watching the league, and to me the league set in a way where you see some of the best netball play in the world. Yes, and when they played, you can see our players. Our players, meaning Jamaican, they continue to dominate right through, because for us to reach the semi-final and final, it is a great effort they put out.
Nevers added that in reflecting on the season that the Jamaican players had, he believes more local players should be plying their trade in Australia.
We need more people to go down there to get some more experience, like the Fowler, like Romelda Hakins and Shamira Sterling and those girls. Overall, when you look at the league itself bring our player up to standard, and that is the reason why we want more to go down there to see if we can get to this high standard as a New Zealand and Australia to really beat them when it comes to the right time.
Winston Nevers, former assistant coach of the Jamaica national senior women's netball team. Several Jamaican athletes have expressed heartfelt gratitude after being awarded a Jamaica Olympic Association scholarships to support their preparations for upcoming competitions and the 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. The scholarships are separate from the Olympic Solidarity Scholarships managed by the International Olympic Committee, but will be nonetheless critical to the athlete's journey to the world stage. Secretary General of the GOA, Ryan Foster, explained the organization's commitment to athlete development.
One of the fundamentals of the Jamaica Olympic Association objectives is about supporting our athletes and their objectives of qualifying for the Olympic Games, as well as for other competitions that they earmark to represent the country in and themselves. We looked at it to say that outside of the 8 athletes that would have been selected to benefit from the Olympic Solidarity Scholarships, we saw that there was also a greater need as well to support other athletes in their venture. And as such, last year, several athletes would have benefited from such a GOA scholarship, and the year prior. This scholarship is used to help them in their preparation for their respective sport and the competitions aligned to those sports.
Foster says the GOA scholarship is another avenue that the association envisions they can change the fortunes of the athletes to ensure that they achieve their objectives.
It will be used for accommodation, ground transportation, air transportation, as well as nutritional support to get them to these respective competitions. I think it is important that we listen to some of the needs of our athletes and our member associations. And I think this was one avenue within which we would have announced in December of our $300 million support over the next quadrennial for our athletes and member federations getting to LA 2028.
And Foster says the athletes are happy with the program.
Nayoka would have said it, and Lord Rika would have said it. Without the intervention of these scholarships, then they would have been at the position of retiring or giving up the sport, because they would not have had that necessary financial backing to continue to develop and to participate in the sport that they love so much. So I think the feedback has been one of being grateful, one of being happy, and one of camaraderie and support from the GOA with them.
Secretary General of the Jamaica Olympic Association, Ryan Foster. Finally, in sports at this time, President of the Jamaica Volleyball Association, Jackie Cowan, believes inexperience played a huge role in the country's performance at the recently concluded Kosovo Under-17 Volleyball Championships at the G.C. Foster College. Both male and female teams ended the championship winless and at the foot of the table.
team was only 15-year-old, and they had never actually competed at this level before, so you'd have a little sense of nerves coming in, which would add to the inexperience. But it gave us an idea of where we are, boys and girls, in terms of what we need to do to get them to the next level.
Cohen suggested that one of the immediate plans following the championships would be to look at creating an under-17 league to give the youngsters more playing time.
We actually need to maybe look at having a league just for that age group. We actually have a club league which is geared towards seniors. So in addition to what happens at the high school, we need to look at maybe having some kind of tournament for that age group. But at the same time, we're going to see how best we can keep them together, even for weekend training as much as possible.
And Cohen, in reflection, shared that Jamaica, as a host country, did a good job to, host the other countries to the championship.
It's always good when we can host and other countries come to Jamaica. One of the things that we wanted to do is showcase volleyball. A lot of persons are not exposed to it, and that's one of the reasons why we hosted. So the tournament, in that regard, I think was good, and I think that the persons who participated in the tournament would have had a good time also.
President of the Jamaica Volleyball Association, Jackie Cohen. That's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:20.
Looking for superior quality transportation from an international award-winning provider? Well, look no further. Choose Island Car Rentals, Jamaica's leading car rental company, setting the standard for ground transportation in Jamaica. For over 50 years, Island Car Rentals has been your trusted partner for reliable, top-quality vehicles. But we're more than just a car rental company. Need an airport transfer at any hour? Heading out of town and want to travel in style with a private chauffeur? Need a truck to rent for business or personal use? Or maybe you need a customized shuttle or tour for a large or a small group? Whatever your transportation need, Island Car Rentals has you covered. Call us today at 876-926-8012 or 876-929-5875 or visit www.islandcarrentals.com to book your next trip. Because Island people take better care of you.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jackama figure dig the wall.
Our Total Tools.
Weed whacker figure trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand.
Total Tools.
We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, or Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option.
Total Tools, located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Sly Road, Kingston.
And lot C6 Jackson, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
The Montego Bay Perimeter Road is more than just concrete and asphalt. It's a road to faster travel, safer journeys, and new opportunities for Western Jamaica. With over $24 billion invested so far, we will ease congestion, connect communities, and build a better future of growth, productivity, and convenience for you and your family. The Montego Bay Perimeter Road, building Western Jamaica tomorrow, today.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robianne Williams. A special good evening to our friends over there on our YouTube platform. Greetings, blessings, big up on yourself. Happy belated Emancipation Day, soon to be independence. I hope you all had a wonderful Emancipation weekend. I hope it was good for you and that you did everything you wanted to do and got enough rest. Yeah? So, As Jamaica moves closer to a next general election, inching closer and closer each day, the spotlight is once again on the people who lead our major political parties. So for public opinion today, we're asking, will your perception of the party leaders influence how you vote? Yeah? Does personality, leadership style, public image matter? What do you think? Yeah, more than policies and party history, the die-heartedness of some? We're asking you, or valued viewers or listeners, will your perception of the party leaders influence how you vote? I'll turn my attention to our X platform, where Mrs. Mann is saying, Andrew Holness all the way. I'm not voting based on perception. I'm voting based on performance. He's a leader who holds himself accountable, keeps his word, and delivers the promises made to the country. Andre Lawrence says, my support is firmly behind Andrew Holness. I'm not making my decision based on perception or talk. I'm looking at the results. He's proven himself by following through, taking responsibility, and making real progress for the country. Let me see if I can get into more. DeMarco is saying, at least one of the leaders does not have a reputation. Wow. Can't really say this on air, people. All right. Going to our Instagram platform, where Unorthodox is saying, yes, perception will. We enjoy a leader who is sober, industrious, neat, well-groomed with a level of decorum. Further, that man must have a track record of achievements for this country, a man who can preside over our affairs exceptionally, as well as we've seen over the past 8 to 10 years. Titch is saying Jamaica is a leader-centric country, and Dr. Andrew Holness is the clear choice because he has shown all the leadership qualities that we're looking for in a prime minister. Blessed is saying 1 p.m. man that has the vision, action over empty promises, propaganda, and lies. Sanapi is saying, yes, my perception of the party leader influences my vote. I prefer a leader who is well-groomed, speaks confidently without reading from a script, and presents facts instead of propaganda. All right, Yardman says that's not a smear campaign being run by the opposition. It's trying to do. It won't sway me. Robert Gregory Lewis says, yes, Dr. Andrew Holness is very diplomatic, so the Jamaican people should vote. No integrity is saying Mark Golding the next PM. The second heroine is saying yes, will not vote for a leader who digs. Okay, I can't say that per ear. Them people are not easy, you know. I have to catch up on myself. All right. Over to our Facebook platform. Lost the comments there. Let me see. Will your perception of the party leaders influence how you vote? I'll go on our Facebook platform. Guinness Barking is saying, absolutely not. I don't vote because of any party leader. I vote based on policy and performance. Lorraine Mackey says, I can't vote for unstable parties, so I choose Jamaica. Salome Paul giving us something here. A good leader has to understand the dynamics of a country in order to balance everyone's expectations. It cannot be done overnight. It's always a work in progress. We, the electorates, need to identify those qualities in our leader and not be sidetracked by the perception that the other is better based on pure talk. Boss Lady saying, yes, I will choose a leader that understands our struggles, a leader who is one of us, a leader who is from us. When we feel him, we know he's for real. Cheryl Griffith saying, choosing Jamaica because I'm coming from poverty to prosperity, just like the PM. I'm a never thief and I never thief my thief. Okay. Mark Anthony is saying, I am from a PNP and I will not kill all my conscience, so I will be voting for Jamaica. Andrew Holness is the best that I have seen, says Mark Anthony. George Elliott saying there's only one party leader, the other is the head of a faction. Philip Kidd saying yes, no integrity by default goes to that team. Wow. Neil Henry says, as an educated Jamaican, I couldn't consider voting out a high-performing, competent government for a group of people who have been running around the country for 2 years. Balling time come. Wow. Let me see if I can get in. Paulette Bradford saying, I choose Jamaica and not lies. I will be voting on the policies, not perception, says Gloria Donaldson. Let me see. Richard Walters says, I'm from a PNP. Okay. I'm from a family that always vote for the PNP, but we all made the decision to keep the Holness government based on the fact that they're doing a great job. Let's see. Best leader ever. All the faxes here coming from Jermaine. All right. A lot of comments on our Facebook platform. Will your perception of the party leaders influence how you vote? To that, we go to our YouTubers. Let's see what our YouTubers are saying. I'm going to quickly refresh the page because I see where it's giving some issues on my end. Let's see as the comments populate. All right. Until then, I'm going to continue on Facebook. Elarita Mitchell says, one can't choose lead on perception. It's truth. It's either truth or lies. It's clear as day. Juliet Richard says, most definitely we're going on message and plans. Karen McLeod says, can't vote for a leader who does not own a house. Okay. All right. For Colin, I can't vote for a leader whose wealth is questionable. All right. On our YouTube platform, Mr. G saying, I would have voted for Golding 4 years ago, but by his omission, pulling the blockchain and okay. All right. Yeah. Flip-flopping is not a sign of a good leader, says Mr. G. Kenute Mulling says, no Tapanaris here. One bro God. My vote goes squarely to Dr. Andrew Holness, says Marva Thomas. Jamaica is a leader-centric country, and Andrew Holness has all the qualities for a good leader, says Neville Bennett. Petrona saying, I choose Jamaica, best PM ever. No chaka-chaka around here. For Becca Grant, Becca is saying performance over perception. Choose Jamaica, growth and development for our country. Perception/belief is not reality. Therefore, I have to choose Jamaica, says Ricky NYCJM. Claudette is saying, my nice and neat Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Mark Jefferson Golding saying, Nev, make Jamaica great again. All right. Chris Davis says Andrew Holness is one of us. Nadine Dockery saying, honestly, I couldn't vote for Mark. All right. A lot of comments coming in on this one. I mean, the election campaign, the election season is almost time. One would imagine. You know, it's almost time. Everybody is concerned at this point in time. When the gate go fly? Yeah. When the gate go fly? When will that day be? I think that's what's on the minds of some, if not many, all. I would say Jamaicans. When the gate go fly? Yeah. I mean, everybody is looking for that date at this point in time. Guys, thank you so much for participating in Public Opinion. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore, for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household, and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Krispy Kreme Waterloo is now reopened. This after a shutdown due to a fire in May, which resulted damage to critical equipment. Now, while no serious injuries were reported, one team member was taken to the hospital. Since then, the company has worked closely with emergency responders, the fire department, and safety consultants to complete assessments, repairs, and reinforce fire safety protocols. To mark the reopening, Krispy Kreme celebrated with a giveaway of 1,000 free donuts, spanning a number of activities across their locations. Further afield, Donald Trump has threatened to substantially raise tariffs against India over its purchase of oil from Russia. They, meaning India, don't care how many people in Ukraine are being killed by the Russian war machine. That's what the U.S. president wrote on his online platform, Truth Social, on Monday. India is currently among the largest buyers of Russian oil. It has become an important export market for Moscow after several European countries cut trade with Russia when they launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Trump did not specify what the new tariff would be, but it comes just days after he unveiled a hefty 25% levy on India. Delhi called Trump's warning unjustified and unreasonable. In the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 161 Jamaican dollars and 24 cents to buy $1 US, 216 Jamaican dollars and 52 cents to buy $1 British pound, and 116 Jamaican dollars and 74 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
Still sweating with that old fan? It's time to upgrade! Meet Glacier, the AC unit that thinks for you. Energy efficient to slash your power bill. Wi-Fi enabled so you can control it from your phone. And self-cleaning because you've got better things to do. Powerful, smart, hassle-free. Call now at 876-923-652-123. Gaddy's Refrigeration Limited, delivering the perfect cooling solution tailored to your needs.
This immense independence celebrate right here at home with luxury, love, and pure Jamaican vibes at Couples Resorts. Feel the sea breeze, savor local flavors, and sip top-shelf cocktails. Rediscover your island your way from $2.99 US per night plus $50 US resort credit. Couples Resort, 100% Jamaican. No passport required. To book, visit couples.com/residence. Conditions apply.
Multi-link, access every town, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multi-link?
Are you ready to pursue undergraduate studies but you are unsure of what to study and where? Choose the internationally accredited University of the Commonwealth Caribbean UCC. We offer on-campus and online undergraduate programs in marketing, business administration, information technology, HR management, finance management, and more. Apply now at ucc.edu.jm or call 906-3000 or visit any of our campuses island-wide. UCC, fostering leadership and innovation.
Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited are authorized distributors of international brands ABB, Omron, STC, Festo, and Thomas & Betts. They supply programmable logic controllers, photoelectric and proximity sensors, contactors and soft starters, power supplies, variable frequency drives, and much more. Visit them at 24 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston, or shop 32 Overton Plaza, 46 Union Street, Montego Bay, or visit their website, cleaslink.net. Cleasing Industrial Supplies for all your industrial automation and control solutions.
Big news
news for Anchovy St. James. The community now has a brand new police station. Tune in to Cliff Views Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Tuesday, August 5 for all the excitement. After operating from the local post office, officers finally have a home to serve Anchovy, Farm Heights, and Pitford phases 1 to 3. This marks the 5th newly constructed station, opened in 2025 as part of the JCF's ongoing transformation. A safer, stronger Anchovy starts right here. It's all going down on Tuesday, August 4 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. during Cliff Views Online. It's the opening of the Anchovy Police Station. Catch the live stream on our YouTube channel and Nationwide 90 FM Live too. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of National Security.
It's Monday, get over your blues. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The E-Zone is here for you. With this thing, Honeybee.
And Karim Boyatings
from 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
We've got your entertainment news.
Then we want to hear your views. Why you say?
Jump in the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss our brain busters.
Or the crazy giveaways.
Let's talk fashion.
Send us your outfit of the day. Ooh, cutesy. Very demure.
Are you looking for love?
Come on one of our blind dates. Send your request to ezoneblindates@gmail.com. That's ezoneblindates@gmail.com.
And stay tuned for your confessions.
These are my confessions.
Share them with us at ezoneconfessions@yahoo.com. I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugger thing.
Ow! Ow!
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, by God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path. Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity. Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we are all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the nation's business. I'm Ricardo Brooks, and we're turning our attention now to that matter of the impeachment of parliamentarians and public officials. Now, as you recall, listeners, the opposition leader had tabled such a bill in the parliament, and he's saying that a future PNP government will bring forward that legislation to impeach parliamentarians and public officials. He says the GLP government has been dragging its feet on the motion that he tabled in 2021.
Impeachment? We're gonna come with impeachment. I brought the impeachment bill back to Parliament with some modifications 3 years ago, and the government has done nothing with it. And we can't pass it because we are in the minority in the Parliament. They have done nothing about it, even though it was a manifesto promise from 2016 of Andrew Holness. I dusted it off and set it up a little differently so it would cover a wider range of terrible acts.
Mark Golding, the opposition leader, joining us now to discuss this matter of impeachment, the Member of Parliament for South St. Catherine, Fitz Jackson, and constitutional attorney Shane Darling. Gentlemen, good evening.
Evening. Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Mr. Shane, and to your listeners.
Thank you so much for joining us. Fitz Jackson, let me start with you. How do we ensure that if we take this step, that the process doesn't become a partisan circus?
Well, look here, Ricardo, what you have before Parliament is a proposed bill. And it's interesting that you ran the clip by party leader of opposition, Mark Golding, because the truth is the genesis of this bill started from actually Bruce Golding, former Prime Minister.
Yes.
And you should have run the clip of the current Prime Minister upon his swearing-in, gave an undertaking to the country, and within 100 days, right, he will pursue it. He has defaulted on that undertaking.
Yes.
We have converged with the government to say, let us have that bill. And as Mr. Golding said in that clip, he never originated the bill. He brushed it off, proposed some changes to it, and the intention, like we have done with many other pieces of legislation, is to develop a consensus around it. So the concern about being partisan, I think, is a red herring. It's of no moment.
All right, let me read from the bill. The bill tabled the Constitutional Amendment Impeachment Act. It reads, to request an impeachment, any person or persons mentioned in subsection 2 of this section may send or deliver a request to the clerk to the Houses of Parliament that a senator or a member of Parliament be impeached on a charge alleging that he has committed an impeachable offense. The following person or persons may make a request that a senator or member of Parliament be impeached: 3 senators or 3 members of Parliament, the Auditor General, the Director of Investigations of the Integrity Commission, the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Director of Elections, the Chairman of or any member of the Integrity Commission, the Director of Corruption Prosecution of the Integrity Commission, the Public Defender, the Political Ombudsman, or the Chairman of any Commission of Inquiry. Shane Darling, do you see any challenges there?
There's serious challenges in that. What you're doing there in that proposed bill, you'd be creating a political nightmare by involving constitutional offices in what I call a political process. The Parliament worldwide self-regulates itself, and so to have outside persons recommending the impeachment of a public official would bring into question politically the motive of that person. I'll give you a little history on the whole idea of impeachment. People believe impeachment is the final act. It's not. It is really the start. So the impeachment is really the laying of an allegation or a charge against a person. Even if the House of Parliament, meaning the House of Representatives, supports the charge, the person would have to move on to a trial. And whether that person is convicted or not, which is left to be seen. What I can tell you about the history is that the whole idea of impeachment started in 1376 in the United Kingdom. And if you look at the success rate of that it has largely failed to the extent that England, the Commonwealth, has moved away from that to now accountability measures. So, for example, let me give you two examples of accountability measures that have worked greater than impeachment. In the United States, Donald Trump was impeached twice, but no conviction followed. Bill Clinton was impeached, no conviction. And in England, when it started out, it largely failed. Even where the person was charged in the Commons, the trial failed at the end. Let me tell you what has been successful, though. George Santos, as you're aware, a Republican congressman, was brought before the Ethics Committee of the Congress, who voted for him to be expelled from Congress. And it was supported by the House, and he was expelled. In Jamaica, Councillor Troop in the St. James municipality was brought before the council, and he was suspended from the council. And so accountable measures such as votes of no confidence have worked greater than the impeachment process, as well as expulsion and suspension. Prime ministers worldwide have removed persons from cabinet from your allegations in reports from auditors general, corruption bodies. Persons have been removed. So the impeachment, if you look at the history, has largely failed. But other accountability measures have worked, and that is what, Mr. Jackson, I believe the Parliament should focus on. Strengthening accountability measures, such as giving the Ethics Committee of Parliament greater powers to suspend, expel members, right? And Prime Ministers greater power to remove members from cabinet, and so forth. But the impeachment, if you look at the history, has largely failed, Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, and Fitz Jackson, I think that was the what I was getting at with my original question, because Shane Darling does a good job of chronicling the history. For example, in the United States, I think 3 of the presidents have been impeached: Bill Clinton, Andrew Johnson, Donald Trump. And in all those instances, the Senate, which was supposed to be the jury, did not convict. And the settled position is that it became really a partisan spectacle. And so let me just finish the question. But in our system, where we are so partisan, do you really expect that a governing party, for example, will vote to convict one of its own and remove them from the parliament? Is that a reasonable expectation?
It is possible, but I'll go further. And Shane, one of my points is this, you know that no legislation is perfect.
Yes.
None. And legislation, by and large, is an expression of the wishes and desires of the country in whatever the subject happens to be. And what is the intent of an impeachment provision? An impeachment provision, at the very minimum, it allows for an exposition of any perceived wrong or bad deed by an office holder, one that would not necessarily otherwise occurred. So at the very minimum, it can serve as a deterrent, even if you don't end up with convictions.
No, but Fitz, what I'm trying to explain is this, that we are going for more a nicety rather than seeking the true accountability. And I am saying to you, I understand the principle of impeachment, but going down the road which England started in 1376, that has largely failed, to introduce it in 2025, is that we are not learning from history. And I'm saying to you, you could put greater measures in place within the standing orders and strengthen the accountability and the sanctions in the framework of the standing orders to hold parliamentarians accountable, because you're holding elected officials accountable. What you're seeking to do by impeachment is to hold a trial, which is not the standard by which parliamentarians should be held of guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. it is accountability as to whether your standard fell below the standard that is required in a democratic society.
And no, but as I recall it, Shane, in the impeachment procedures, the person who is accused or said to be wanted to be impeached, they have the opportunity for a defense also to make their case. And it's just simply this. Well, let me put it this way, gentlemen. I don't want the discussion. I wouldn't want the discussion to begin to carve out a perfect solution. My own experience in the parliament has taught me that good ideas can be made better through a process of engagement.
Absolutely.
Right? And if we are sincere and committed to make us parliamentarians, other elected persons of the public, more and more accountable to the people who elect us and who we serve, we ought to sit down and carve that out, notwithstanding the historic failures that you speak of. You know, as I said, legislation over time go through amendments and change to make them better. All I'm saying, position is simply this. If we are committed to ensuring we have a process of greater transparency and greater accountability, and to all us elected persons to the fire for our deeds in office, let us all sit down and make and carve out the legislation. What Mr. Golding has there is not necessarily going to be the final piece.
But a starting point for the conversation.
We don't start.
But all right, may I then...
Briefly?
Go ahead, Chin.
Just briefly. Ricardo, I want to say to Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson, holding parliamentarians accountable to impeachment, as I said to you, is not, in my view, workable. Ricardo, one of the first things you need to do is to state in the reform, no convict in the parliament, Fitzjackson. That's one of the first things.
Sorry, Shane, repeat that last point for me, please.
I'm saying to you, in terms of holding persons accountable and talking about impeachment from wrongs, what you should first put in place is that you should have no convict in the parliament.
Meaning that's anybody previously convicted of a crime?
That is correct. You put that if you're serious about it.
But Shane Darling, how do we square that with the notion of somebody having done their time and we say that people are rehabilitated? How do we square that?
And I say that to you. That provision is for persons looking a job in some places, not in the parliament. Let me explain to you why I say that, Ricardo. You would never believe a sex offender is reformed to work in a school. You'd never believe that. Right?
Fair,
and you would not, nobody in the society would accept that.
Yes.
The parliament, being the highest respectable body in any country, should maintain that standard. Two, you should also put in place, Fitzjackson, where persons are charged with serious crimes, criminal charges, they should be excused or suspended from the parliament until they have cleared their names.
But Shane, you are prescribing what we should do now. The question before us
is not going to work because the trial of it
I don't have difficulty if we establish a menu of qualifications, which we don't have now.
Yes.
We don't have that now. Mm-hmm. And Ricardo made a reference, which is what prevails. If we want to change it, let us change it.
All right, so
don't just get up and say, invoke this now.
All right, so let me...
arriving at a consensus around those things.
So let me hear you then.
I could always say, many persons who behave terribly in many ways shouldn't be in parliament even without conviction of a crime. Should not be elected either.
So let me give you...
Let us settle on what those menu of qualifying criteria are for parliamentarians to be elected in the first place. But the question of impeachment has to deal with persons who haven't been elected and you're sitting in the parliament. What conduct would cause you to not hold your office. That's what the impeachment provisions are.
So let me give an option. So let me just also tell the listeners that the Constitutional Reform Committee did consider the matter of impeachment, and it said that it recommends that there should be no inclusion of that process in the reformed Constitution, and it is saying that it is dealing with what is essentially a legal matter through a political process, as most impeachable offenses are criminal in nature and properly triable in the courts. Would you gentlemen be okay with recall instead of impeachment? So in other words, an allegation is made. We set up a system where the constituents who elected the person in the first instance, perhaps it's, 2/3 or a third or whatever it is of the signatures of the voters on the list, and then it triggers an automatic election. Would you support that?
I think those are two very different things.
Certainly what you want is accountability.
No, but Ricardo,
yes.
Bear this in mind. A constituency can recall me or any MP if they believe their performance as an MP is below par, below what is satisfactory to them as a constituency. But remember, once we are elected to Parliament, we are not a member of Parliament for only that constituency. We are a member of Parliament for all of Jamaica. And if our conduct in the office of the Parliament, in Parliament, is beneath that which is desirable, then it ought not to be left exclusively to the constituents to determine the fate of that person.
No, but Fitzjackson, I don't think I agree with that, because in the first instance, your constituents sent you there and you represent them. So I understand that you have general lawmaking power for the good of the whole country, but you certainly sit in the House to represent their interests in the first instance, no?
Yes, but at the same breath I'm saying, and while what you say might be the case that prevails now, what I'm proposing is an acknowledgement of the fact. When I go to Parliament, I'm not there on behalf of Southern Catherine alone.
But you are there primarily on behalf of them.
All of Jamaica. And if my conduct on behalf of all of Jamaica is unbecoming and become a stain on the Parliament, right? Then it ought not to be left to the constituents alone to determine. Let's choose somebody else.
But
you're not going to take away that power from the constituency to choose their electors, their representatives.
What would be wrong? What would be wrong in terms of, as the Constitutional Reform Committee said, that the trial of a person through an impeachment process is of a different standard than we'd want to hold the parliamentarians, because you're almost setting that as a criminal standard. We're talking about accountability standard, where, yes, included recall of your member of parliament to the citizenry. 2, suspending members from parliament for certain activities or being involved in certain activities, excluding persons from coming into the parliament having been charged, convicted, or having certain other adverse traits from entering the parliament, from running on a political ticket to enter the parliament. Those, first and foremost, are easy to establish, and we are not going for the low-hanging fruit, such as exclusion of persons first from entering the parliament and removing them having committed certain crimes while sitting in the parliament. Those are not in its fit. And if you do that, you're satisfying a lot of the Jamaican people, but you can't speak about impeachment when you don't have exclusion provisions, such as convicts, persons currently before the court on charges, running and going into parliament, and you can't satisfy the Jamaican people unless you're dealing with those first, and then you talk about removal, such as suspension.
In other words, you would need a basic starting point from which to launch. All right, I have to take a time signal, gentlemen. Just hold it for me. Let me take a time signal and be right back.
Truth is, you can live life to the fullest with HIV. This time signal is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The time is...
It's 2 minutes after 7. Thank you so much for staying with us. We have with us the Member of Parliament for South St. Catherine, Fitz Jackson, and Constitutional Attorney Shane Darling. We're discussing this matter of impeachment. The opposition leader, the PNP president, is promising that if he's successful in the upcoming general election, his government will bring forward that bill he tabled in 2021 calling for impeachment. You will recall, listeners, that Prime Minister Andrew Holness had made the commitment nearly a decade ago. That commitment has not been kept. The Constitutional Reform Committee that considered the issue, they say that they do not believe impeachment is an appropriate mechanism for Jamaica. Among those reasons they gave, let me just find it for you. They say that you're dealing with essentially a legal matter through a political process, and most impeachable offenses are criminal and should be tried in court. It says it can easily be manipulated for partisan political purposes, and it is difficult to ensure an impartial hearing by members of a parliament that's divided along partisan political lines. The CRC also says the parliament would have to be provided with its own investigative resources, and where the matter being investigated involves the allegation of a crime, then the normal criminal proceedings would be invoked, which creates the risk of competing and conflicting jurisdictions and outcomes. And in cases where impeachable offenses are not criminal offenses, the definitions are generally vague, and therefore the impeachment process is inconsistent with the principles of natural justice. Before to the break, I was posing the question. An alternative would be the right to recall. Fitz Jackson is saying he would have a problem with that. I didn't hear you on it, Shane, as an alternative.
I did say that that's one of the recommendations that I would make, a recall. So you give the citizens the right to do it. But the stronger point from me is this. If Fitz, look at the Public Accounts Committee and how it has been used to hold government accountable over different administrations, right? In fact, the Public Accounts Committee, and if you do your research, has caused governments to fall based on all the things that they have revealed and the question and answers raised in Parliament. Fitz. No, the Ethics Committee of the Parliament is within the standing order set up to deal with some of the aspects that you are speaking about in terms of impeachment. And I'm saying to you, strengthen that capability that the Ethics Committee has, where they receive certain information, intelligence reports, confidential, in the same way that the Ethics Committee of the Congress in the United States got information about George Santos and expelled him, recommended the expulsion of him from a Republican Congress. We expelled him from the Congress, and he had to leave before he was even officially charged. And I'm saying to you, Fitz, if you put those in place rather than impeachment, because the impeachment of the Constitutional Committee said deals with too many legal matters rather than matters of accountability within the Parliament. So the principle is okay enough, Fitz. It is where you go, how you go about it, and where's the starting point. So I agree with Ricardo. The power of recall can be included. But I'm saying to you, Fitz, there are low-hanging fruit that you can deal with, such as reforming the entrance requirement to go into the Parliament and the requirement to remain in the Parliament.
I said two things, Shane. And I don't think we are talking in the main at cross-purpose here. Right? I don't think it's an either-or situation for me. Right? The whole question of qualifying criteria for members of Parliament, that is something that we must pursue. And we have to arrive at some consensus in the country around it. To begin with, I'm not one of those who believe that lawmaking is exclusively the domain of us in Parliament. We ought to engage our people and reach a consensus around it so that they can do ownership of the legislation that we promulgate. So yes, we can put it out there.
But I'm sorry, Fitz, but it sounds like you're trying to have it both ways. Because on the one hand, you'd want to consult them on the lawmaking, but on the other, you don't see yourself as principally accountable to them, such that you would support recall? Am I misunderstanding something?
No, I'm saying what Shane has put forward some proposals in terms of making members of parliament accountable and so on. And I'm saying that I don't have any issue with those. In respect to the promulgation of legislation, right, to strengthen these provisions. All I'm saying unequivocally, something that I've fought for consistently over the years, that when we promulgate laws in the country, we must engage the citizens through some series of consultations on what we promulgate. That's all I'm saying for the lawmaking aspect of it. I'm not talking about for example, the provision that Shane talked about in the ethics committees and so on. We can do those. But he was going further than that. He was saying, for example, start with these quote-unquote low-hanging fruits and what the qualification ought to be for persons running for office. And I'm saying I don't have any issue with those. But when we're going to make them into law, right, it's not exclusively us sit down in Parliament and make those decisions by ourselves without engaging the citizens. That's all I was saying. But we do that all the time, Ricardo. We do that all the time. It would be anything new.
Fitz, let me correct you on that part, though. The Parliament is self-regulating in terms of regulating your activities. And I'm saying to you, yes, and that's what I'm saying to you. In terms of your accountability.
You were promulgated.
Right. Fitz, for example, holding persons accountable, talking about impeaching persons. Attendance in the Parliament, for example. You don't need to pass a law to impeach. You could pass rules to say that persons who attend miss 1/3 of the sittings of the Parliament should be suspended. 2/3 expelled.
Yeah, those are the easy ones. We have provisions for those already.
Those are in.
No, but they're not provisions that you're enforcing, I think is what Shane is saying.
But that's a different thing. But the provisions are there.
No, but then Fitz, what I'm saying
is the governance is those who govern, like the leader of the House.
No, right? Fitz, an impeachment provision is one of the most difficult, and the history from 1376 has shown that is one of the most difficult things to enforce. And I'm saying to you, stop going for the difficult ones that are just appeasing the public by on paper.
I would like to test them, Shane. I would want to interrogate it some more, and the lawmaking process allows for that.
So
I acknowledge and accept the historic background that you lay out. Many laws never worked centuries ago, but they work today. Right? So I'm not saying I'm not closing the door. That's in a summary. That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying let us sit down, both sides, and those outside of both sides too, civil society, engage the country around it, and reach a consensus. That's all. I am not making any judgment or final decision at this stage, because I believe that wisdom lies outside of my own head too. And a lot of other persons have some things to contribute to make it better.
But so what you seem to be saying is that
your unlimited wisdom tells us that we should not go any further. I'm afraid of that.
But Fitz, what you're saying, then the opposition leader doesn't have your vote fully at this time.
No, the lawmaking process, Shane, engages members of Parliament and the broader society. That's what happens. It's only in a dictatorship that it doesn't work that way, or was it different?
But as the bill is presently crafted, do you support it, Fitzjackson?
That bill in my mind would once we accept the bill, we'll send it to a joint select committee and we'll start the process. So what the party leader has done.
So is that a yes or no? Do you support it in its current form?
In the current form, some amendments can be made to what is there.
Okay. Wait, go ahead.
So I'll leave by saying again, Fitz, that I'll take the impeachment provision off the table and focus, as I said, on matters that you can fix simply within changing the rules and the standing orders to address some of the matters that the Act would deal with, and that will fix the problem.
No, and I don't agree with it to take it off the table.
Yeah, and I will say, I think what this conversation shows is that we need to have wider conversations with the Jamaican people about these issues. Because there are significant governance issues that I think, we haven't consulted widely enough on. I happen to agree with Shane Darling that I don't think impeachment is the appropriate route. I'd rather recall. But I hear you, Fitzjackson. Consultation cannot hurt at all.
Well, and we must not be afraid of it.
Agreed. Fitzjackson is the Member of Parliament for South St. Catherine. Any predictions on your margin in the upcoming election?
In my seat?
Yes.
Oh, we are going for a 5,000 margin this time.
Oh, the Labourites are gunning for it, though, that they're going to unseat you.
Well, Ricardo, the last real election in last year, the margin that we're going forward is 3,647 from last year, February.
So 5,000 is the target?
No. Does that number sink in? That's our starting point, no. 3,647. Margin.
Okay.
Not votes. Margin.
Yeah, margin, right. I'm saying 5,000 is the target for the margin.
Exactly. To do better than that.
I see. Very well. We'll see. Fitzjackson.
So what is your prediction?
For your seat?
Yes.
The history suggests you may well hold on to it, but we'll see.
Well, I go further. Not only with South St. Catherine, but Southeast, which we have already captured from last year. And we are going in for East Central that the JLP wanted to change through gerrymandering, which fortunately they did not succeed.
The Labourites, I am sure, strenuously disagree with that assessment, Fitzjackson.
Well, they do that.
I am out of time, Mr. Jackson.
They could have won. They would not start gerrymandering as a way out.
I am out of time, Mr. Jackson. I appreciate your time. Thank you as always. Shane Darling, I appreciate the perspectives as always.
Welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we have bites from the campaign trail.
As of June 1, Jamaica's minimum wage is now $16,000 per 40-hour work week, up 158% from 2016, marking the highest minimum wage in the nation's history. We are building Jamaica.
The time by the office of the Prime Minister is...
It's 14 minutes after 7.
Looking for superior quality transportation from an international award-winning provider? Well, look no further. Choose Island Car Rentals, Jamaica's leading car rental company, setting the standard for road transportation in Jamaica. For over 50 years, Island Car Rentals has been your trusted partner for reliable, top-quality vehicles. But we're more than just a car rental company. Need an airport transfer at any hour? Heading out of town and want to travel in style with a private chauffeur? Need a truck to rent for business or personal use? Or maybe you need a customized shuttle or tour for a large or a small group? Whatever your transportation need, Island Car Rentals has you covered. Call us today at 876-926-8012 or 876-929-5875 or visit www.islandcarrentals.com to book your next trip. Because Island people take better care of you.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose fittings and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
Getting ready for school is as easy as KB. Shop at Kingston Bookshop between July 14 to September 6, 2025 for your chance to win big in our back-to-school promotion. Spend just $5,000 before GCT, shop online or in-store, and you could win $150,000 in cash, an HP laptop, or a Samsung Galaxy Tab A9. It's back to school the easy way, only at KB. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Big news for Anchovy St. James. The community now has a brand new police station. Tune in to Cliffviews Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Tuesday, August 5 for all the excitement. After operating from the local post office, officers finally have a home to serve Anchovy, Farm Heights, and Pitford Phases 1 to 3. This marks the 5th newly constructed station, opened in 2025 as part of the JCF's ongoing transformation. A safer, stronger Anchovy starts right here. It's all going down on Tuesday, August August 4 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. during CliffViews Online. It's the opening of the Anchovy Police Station. Catch the live stream on our YouTube channel and Nationwide 90 FM Live too. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of National Security.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. We're now going to bring you the race to 32 in bites. And during this series, we'll be bringing you the sharpest sound bites, the standout moments, and the key takeaways from the weekend's hustings as the parties sprint toward that magic number. You know the number, 32. Once you hit 32, then you are able to ask the Governor General then to appoint the leader as Prime Minister. Now, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has given yet another clear indicator that he will soon, very soon, call the date for the general election.
My Jamaican family, the time is drawing near. My Jamaican people, you have a strategic government, a disciplined government, a government that does things systematically and in order. We don't believe in chaka-chaka, and we never, ever, ever, ever look chaka-chaka. When I put my hand out to you to shake it, you don't have to think twice. You can take my hand. You know that we are clean-hearted and clean hands, and we bring clean words to you. And we give you knowledge and information on which you can make a decision.
And that clean hands comment is both literal and figurative, I imagine, because I've seen a picture with what appears to be, let me put it that way, a leader, a political leader, with his hand down his pants, the back of his pants. So that play on clean hands, I imagine the Prime Minister means in terms of integrity, and clean hands in terms of not putting his hand down the back of his pants. Yeah? And if you notice, the Prime Minister has been taking these kind of jabs lately, but he's doing it with a certain finesse. I'm not calling nobody name, but you are left in no doubt as to who he's talking to or about. Yeah, Dr. Holness was addressing a really, really big crowd at the Juliet Holness's East Rural St. Andrew Constituency Conference last night, and the comments come amid speculation he'll name the date for the next general election at a mass meeting in Halfway Tree on Sunday. Now, Dr. Holness told his audience that unlike others, he knows he's not entitled to any position of power in this country.
Some people behave like they own Jamaica. It's just a matter that time come for them. It's not a matter that they work for it. It's not a matter that they deserve it. It's not a meritocracy. It's just that time, the effluxion of time. It's just so. But we have never, I certainly have never behaved entitled in Jamaica. A part of the challenge that I face is that I represent a disruption. A real disruption for those persons who believe that they have an entitlement to Jamaica. You see, I don't have any Tapanaris in me. I am 100% purebred Jamaican.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness there. And as I said to Cliff this morning, it will be so interesting to see how that message plays. Yeah, that I am like you message, that they're trying to bring me down because I wasn't born with a gold spoon. I do not come from privilege. I am not one of them. I am one of you. Mm-hmm. And therefore, they're trying to attack me. It will be interesting to see how that message plays over the campaign.
And I think it's a message that he will repeat from here on. Yes. Have we heard him this forthright in his defense since this whole matter started?
No. In fact, I thought about it and I thought back, and I think the last time he addressed the matter was in September when the report was tabled in the House of Representatives. You'll recall he made a statement to the House. That's the last time I recall him frontally addressing the issue.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's the next one?
In a veiled response
to the fresh claims over the weekend about his financial affairs, the Prime Minister sought to make clear that he has worked honestly for all he has.
I have never been given anything free. I've had to work for anything that I've had. I have said it before and I will say it again. I don't know what a gold spoon looks like. It has never been in my mouth. I have no inheritance or any endowment or any trust fund anywhere. Whatever I have worked hard and honestly for it. I have never gained wealth by exploiting the people. No. My ethic is by the sweat of my brow I shall eat bread. And that is the ethic of the Jamaica Labour Party. We work for what we have.
Dr. Andrew Holness, Prime Minister and JLP leader.
And if I could just say, Cliff, there it is again. I've never exploited the people.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't call anybody's name, but those who are paying attention immediately know what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of finesse I was talking about, listeners, that he's throwing punches, but he's still maintaining the office and the dignity of the Prime Minister. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, the opposition leader, Mark Golding, he's saying that a future PNP government will bring forward the legislation to impeach parliamentarians and public officials.
Impeachment? We're going to come with impeachment. I brought the impeachment bill back to Parliament with some modifications 3 years ago, and the government has done nothing with it. And we can't pass it because we are in the minority in the Parliament. They have done nothing about it, even though it was a manifesto promise from 2016 of Andrew Holness. I dusted it off and set it up a little differently so it would cover a wider range of terrible acts.
That's Mark Golding. He says that Prime Minister Holness's legal challenge against the Integrity Commission will affect the JLP's chances of being re-elected.
It has now come out that the Prime Minister has even more legal problems. From the report reached Parliament last year, September I think it was, I said publicly the Prime Minister should take away himself. You cannot be running the country and be in charge of government with a cloud of this nature hanging over your head.
Of course, you've heard that message before, listeners. The People's National Party is obviously banking on it, whether it be that it will turn people off or draw people to the polls. That's the calculation. They're hoping that it will.
That's their election strategy.
It will sway people. I'm not so sure. I think perhaps if we were hearing of this matter for the first time over the weekend, then I think it would be more potent. But where you've drummed it for so long, better part of a year maybe.
More than a year.
Right. I think those who were going to use it as their determining factor have already made up their mind one way or the other. So I'm not sure, but
it's what you say, it's baked in.
Absolutely. But we'll see. We'll see.
Meanwhile, MP for South East St. Catherine, the JLP's Robert Miller, says he has done far more for the constituency in the last 5 years than the opposition PNP did in the last 4 decades. Miller made the declaration at the launch of his campaign for a second term at the helm of South East St. Catherine. In an apparent jab at his opponent, Dr. Alfred Dawes, Miller says he's accessible to his constituents.
We're missing a clip there, but he was launching his campaign today in Portmore. Of course, he's going for a second term. The PNP General Secretary, Dr. Dayton Campbell, he says taxi operators should withhold their services from members and supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party on election day. And let me do. Oh, we have it. All right, let's go. Okay.
I cannot only be found on TikTok. I am here in person, accessible to my people. And we have to ask a question. Are some of us serious about representing the people at the local level? Or are we serious in our perception and our worldview of becoming a Minister of Health? I'll put that question out there, but I'll ask, what are you taking to the table? Are you taking gimmickry? Are you taking the people for granted? Can you be trusted? And I'll ask the citizens, can you trust this person to represent you? You are sure in your minds that you can trust Big Rob Miller.
Robert Miller there, the MP for South East St. Catherine. He's been beating this drum that Dawes is only in it because he intends to become Minister of Health. And so he sees the seat as a conduit to get into the cabinet, but not really to represent the people. Now, I was saying to you listeners before that the PNP General Secretary, Dr. Dayton Campbell, says that taxi operators should withhold their services from members and supporters of the JLP on election day. And I just play the clip, Bugs, because the PNP General Secretary reached out to me to say that our story needed more context because he was referencing, he sent me an article from the Gleaner where Desmond McKenzie is quoted as saying that taximen are quote-unquote evil. I didn't hear those comments myself, but that's what the Gleaner reported, and the PNP General Secretary wants it known that that's what he was responding to. But I said before, that I saw a clear strategy from the PNP to bring taximen on side. Mm-hmm. And you know why that is. Mm-hmm. On election day, it's a key mobilization base.
Yes.
You need those cars.
Yes.
But here's the PNP General Secretary.
We are going to give them $500 a day, $2,500 a week, $10,000 a month time to send them to school. Why would anybody decide that they want to take $5,000 to vote or $10,000 to vote when you can get $10,000 every month per child to send them to school? When we say we can't them go to school, them start cuss all the taxi man them. Me I wonder if the taxi man them if you no really are going to get up election day and say you no can't labor right. You know hear them say you no a thief and rapist and them something there. Run with them and election day when they come, no care nobody for them.
That's the PNP General Secretary, Dr. Dayton Campbell.
Ricardo, listeners, what is wrong with Dayton Campbell? Doesn't he realize that he's a senior member of the People's National Party and that how he conducts and deports and communicates is important? Every time you hear this man, he's shouting. He makes you cringe. Somebody inside your car get a hold of him and shut him a box and say, shut your mouth or speak in a way that people can listen to you.
Well, let me say this. I think it's deliberate.
Deliberate?
I think it's deliberate. And it's clear to me that Dr. Campbell is playing to a particular gallery, to a particular base. I think as the General Secretary, he has clearly assumed that this may well come down to a base election. And therefore, he thinks that appeals to the base of the society.
No.
That's my reading of it.
No.
Tell
me that 15, 10, 20 years ago. Yes? Ordinary PNP supporters cannot like that. Cannot like that. You're disrespecting people when you shout at them like that. And he's constantly shouting. Huh? No.
Well, he says the PNP intends to show appreciation to taxi operators.
Tomorrow, our leader is going to have a link up with the taxi man them because we understand that you have to appreciate everyone in the society. Those who come from up at top, those who come from Douglas and those in between. So we are going to show our appreciation by having the link up with the taxi men who transport us daily to and from work to and from school to and from church to and from wherever we're going.
Dr. Dayton Campbell there, I believe that link up is happening in Crossroads. And of course, listeners, you would recall that this comes on the heels of the Prime Minister being in the middle of Halfway Tree and in Crossroads handing out that achievement booklet. Mark Golding will be reasoning with the taxi men. Again, as I say, a key mobilization base for election day, and the People's National Party clearly trying to win them on side. Dr. Campbell is also saying that the PNP is winning what he calls a traction war ahead of the next general election. He says the JLP is behaving as if it's the first party to campaign for re-election on the strength of its achievements.
On Sunday, we are go up a town. If them don't want call it, we are go call it. We are going up a town for Kingston and St. Andrew parish meeting, and that is the deadline for the election. So if Labour don't call it, we are calling it, because there's no reason to delay the election. In all of my life, I listening to them, and they come with an argument that them are the first government a campaign for achievement. Nothing no go so. They were about all of them election where PJ run, when him said don't stop the progress. What was he talking about?
Dr. Dayton Campbell there, the PNP General Secretary. I don't need to remind my listeners, but I'll just say it anyway. Dr. Campbell, and nobody in the People's National Party for that matter, can call the general election. That power rests with the Prime Minister to advise the Governor General to dissolve the Parliament, name nomination day, and name the date for the taking of the polls. So that's clearly just platform talk. Yeah? The JLP's Venetia Phillips, herself a former comrade, says the party's strategy, the JLP strategy of campaigning on its achievements in office, is causing problems for the opposition PNP. Speaking in East Rural St. Andrew, she says comrades are struggling to respond to a campaign strategy that's alien to them.
Can I just tell you that the People's National Party, I said it last week and I'm going to say it again, they're frustrated. They're a set of frustrated people because they're not accustomed to election campaign like the one they're seeing now. They're not accustomed to achievements being used as the main tool of campaigning because they're used to propaganda spreading. They're used to distorting information. They are used to trickery. And remember, if fish come from sea bottom and tell us a shark down there, believe him.
Venetia Phillips, and I imagine she's the one coming from the sea bottom, that is the PNP, and telling the Labourites that shark down there. Yeah, and she's now a JLP spokesperson. For completeness, of course, the general election can automatically be triggered by the Constitution if not called, and you know that outer band is, I think, December 15th, I believe. But certainly the Prime Minister and his General Secretary have given the indication that we will not be going to the outer constitutional limit. So again, that power rests with the Prime Minister to advise the Governor General. You're going to hear more of this as we get closer and closer. A lot more will be said from platforms. We are expecting, we've been told, we understand that the Prime Minister will call the election. We anticipate on Sunday in halfway tree. So we'll have the date soon enough, eh? That's the race to 32 in bites, yeah, where we give you the sharpest sound bites, the standout moments, and the key takeaways from the weekend's hustings, yeah? We're going to have the Watchman next, Book's favorite segment, and then we're going to take your calls. The numbers are 630-9371-4, 618-8255. Come talk with us.
Escape to Idlewild and a grill where sand and serenity meet. Visit idlewild.com or call 876-957-3302. Idlewild and stay a while.
The Watchman. Exploring issues shaping our society, government, and business. Provocative, unconventional. Dr. Henley Morgan is The Watchman.
Good evening. Patriotism, a timely reminder at independence. When I was a child in primary school, there is a nursery rhyme that we would recite. Speak the truth and speak it ever, cost you what it will. He who hides the wrong he did does the wrong thing still. In today's Jamaica, that time-tested value has been lost. Few and far between are those willing to call a spade a spade. With the many wrongs of society staring us in the face, the tendency is to beat around the bush, not wanting to offend anyone, especially when criticizing an action that we ourselves are prone to commit. Case in point, the decision by 4 of our top athletes to represent Turkey against their compatriots on the world stage of athletics. Having heard 2 of the athletes, Wayne Pinnock and Roger Stoner, try to explain the reason why they switch, the Watchman is going on record with this bold statement. They are unpatriotic. One should not have to explain the meaning of patriotism, but just in case there is someone listening who needs to be reminded, patriotism is devotion and attachment to one's original country. There is no test to prove how patriotic one is, but the patriotic person usually acts in a way that brings recognition and glory to his or her country of birth. Jamaicans of all walks of life have for a long time sought opportunities abroad. A small, underdeveloped island has economic and other limitations, which cause citizens to seek their fortune elsewhere. There's nothing unpatriotic in that. I am talking about someone who, for purely mercenary reasons, that is, earning money at the expense of ethics, succumbs to the lure offered by a competing country in an area such as sports. These modern-day mercenaries are reminiscent of the American Western television series from the late 1950s and early 1960s, which went by the title, Have Gun Will Travel. The main character, played by Richard Boone as Paladin, was a gunfighter who hired out his services to whomever would pay. For him, loyalty and ethics were commodities to be sold to the highest bidder. Possibly, the most widely quoted call to patriotism came from President John F. Kennedy. In his inaugural address, he said, and I quote, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country." End quote. This is a timely reminder as we get ready to celebrate another Independence Day. Think on these things.
Produced by Agency for Inner City Renewal, AIR, and recorded in the Jamming Studio Trenchtown, a breath of fresh air bringing change to the inner city.
GPS! Keep it cool, keep it cool. Summertime hot, but we have all the tools. Keep it cool, keep it cool.
Enough ways to save, you just have to choose. Stay out of the fridge, just use a igloo. Remember your Kisco ice and the juice.
The fan AC combo, yeah, I hit that. AC for a bit, then a fan after that. Keep it cool, keep it cool.
This summer JPS have all the tools.
Keep you cool with JPS. Download the JPS app today.
This Immense Independence celebrate right here at home with luxury, love, and pure Jamaican vibes at Couples Resort. Feel the sea breeze, savor local flavors, and sip top-shelf cocktails. Rediscover your island your way from $2.99 US per night plus $50 US resort credit. Couples Resort, 100% Jamaican, no passport required. To book, visit couples.com/residence. Conditions apply.
Omalo, good evening. You're up first.
Yeah, good evening, Ricardo. Is Cliff in?
No, he stepped out.
Ricardo, guess what happened? I went and looked inside my mailbox, and I saw my book of achievement.
Oh, yeah? Uptown you live, man. You get it delivered to you.
Me never like this, no. Yeah, me never get my book of achievement, Ricardo.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I'm going to book up achievement. But Ricardo, listening to Fitz Jackson and the other person you were speaking to,
Shane Darling.
If I'm proposing for there to be what you call it now, not a recall, but what was the other proposal?
Impeachment.
An impeachment. I would put it in law. Where the Supreme, the what you call it, the head of the three court, the three judge panel at the appeals court, oversee the procedure. They are the ones that are going to make the judgment, and the prosecution is marshaled by the Integrity Commission prosecutor.
Okay. Let me tell you something. I don't agree with impeachment for the reason that I don't believe that if there is a breach of, well, certainly if it's a criminal law, then, obviously the criminal law will take care of that. But if there are breaches of standards or ethics, I think it should go back to the people who sent the person there. And that's why I prefer recall.
But how a recall would be possible in place here with Garrison?
Well, that's just a democracy. That's a democracy.
No, but you can't.
I mean, at the very least, what would happen is that you'd have to reface the people and renew the mandate.
No, but you can't do something knowing that what the result is going to be, and then you put it in law.
No, but what you are proposing is to outsource the power.
No, it's Jamaican still overseeing.
Yeah, no, but you're outsourcing it to other branches. For example, you're including judges, you're including the Integrity Commission. I don't agree with that.
Yeah. But I can't have the same people. I can't have robbers judging robbers.
I'm more satisfied with the people. People who sent you there, they should have the final say.
Yeah, but the next thing, Ricardo. I'm having a problem. I'm questioning the Integrity Commission reason to continue this prolonged investigation in the Prime Minister. You see, every Jamaican is responsible, is have a right to probable cause in Jamaica. You cannot have a prolonged investigation. I cannot be just under constant investigation all my life for the same thing.
But my understanding is that he's no longer under investigation. They've investigated and closed the matter and sent and sent a report to the Parliament.
So why Jamaicans are not privy to that?
Well, they said it. They said it in their report, and we queried it, and based on their response, it was clear that they were referring to the investigation they had launched.
So why are people still talking about the Prime Minister under investigation?
Well, that's factually incorrect.
Huh?
That's
so
factually
why
incorrect.
Is it that the Integrity Commission can come out and say, just like how they correct other things, come out and say, no, the Prime Minister's investigation is closed? Because I still hear the news on the campaign trail.
Well, as you, I don't know if you recall, but when we did ask them the question, they said they could not come out and say it because it was now sub judice, and so they would not make any reference to it. But the fact that when we queried the reference in the report to a closed investigation and they say it's sub judice, then obviously one can infer that it's obviously the investigation that they had launched against him.
Ricardo,
and they have said in their report that is closed.
It's election time, Ricardo.
Yes.
The people of Jamaica need clarity. This is still being used out there on the campaign trail.
Yes.
It is on. I hear Mark Golding still talking about it. I hear Dayton Campbell still talking about it, and I hear the people them that listen and preach what they are saying still talking about it. It is up. It is nothing. If the case is closed, it is not something that will affect what the matter in court. So the IC have all the right to come and tell the Jamaican people that they work for that this case is closed.
All right.
It's not going to affect what happened in the court because it is already closed.
Hear you, Omalo. Thanks for the call, my brother. Willow, good evening.
Good evening, Ricardo. Chris step out.
He did.
All right. Ricardo.
Yes, sir.
May I listen to Mr. Campbell, you know?
Mm-hmm.
May I listen to Mr. Campbell? Mr. Campbell was the one who usually demonstrate against Mr. Montague for giving so many taxes, Hackney and Root. right? Because them never had argue it, right? Them never had argue it, And I then tell me, say, we go race foul in our bus, and foul in our taxi, in our car. The GLP come on board and sorry for we, and give we route, and give we happening. And we are heat of food. And now, I want to vote. I vote him one. Tell him, say, it don't make sense, him and the leader come in a road, come talk, Because him and the leader never have no plan for taxi, man. Yeah, they never have no plan for taxi, man, and no plan for bus, man. Because them own friend, Colin Campbell, he tell me, so we are going to raise foul tonight. Yeah, let me tell you that. So all them no come. Remember, and on the GLP taxi man are rape and robber, are the people, them, the citizens of Jamaica, talk about the unruly taxi man. Because you have law-abiding taxi man in them thing there. So they can be put close on him argument or keep him out because him out a fly too much and too much spit a come out of it. And all the spit will come out of it. Nothing will come out of it constructive.
All
yes,
right.
nothing will come out of it constructive.
Here you will. Thanks for the call. Richie, good evening.
Good evening, brethren. I listened that device from a while ago. Talk about impeachment bill. And he's going to remove Black clause. But the Black clause is what helped him because he is to be here playing politics until now. Because from 6 months out, we have been calling on the so-called Intel Commission to name the little six. And until now, this is 2 years and 3 months now, and they can't name them. And they have been holding their hammer in the government with it. Andrew Wallace is one of them. And until now, they can't name them. So how is it that him come with it to know that the sixes and the is one? Is it? No. If there's even some of them out there, if it's even true, he could one of them, because that man sent his supporters to go and vote in a dead people name. And he be trusted. Nobody can be trusted, Ricardo?
I'm hearing you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. This man cannot be trusted. But we're going to move on again. Dayton Campbell. That man is straight. You might be people call him Satan Campbell on the road now, The man saying now that if they don't call election by Sunday, they're going to call it. They're not glad, because, them not glad and then glad, they're not glad and then glad because they know at the end of the election, it won't be pretty for them. And two, the reason why they're glad in a sense, them want to save themselves from the stress. Me keep us what we have to him, but we have to understand this man is stressed. They are stressed. Them have nothing sensible to come out and talk and tell the people. And when I continue to tell them, Ricardo, say night I come, rules are come and rules. It's time then tell the people they have when they become government and start playing politics. But they're not here,
All right, Richie.
They don't have one simple good plan for the country and how they do going around and dance. They go of them talk about it, fit them boss. Them talk about, there's so many things they talk about. We can't write a book about a thing that them playing politics. And then they understand, how them doing. They're doing Mrs. Andrew Wallace that him pay the man because the man take time out to study at the doctorate. Now pay the mind.
All right, Richie.
The one have shame and stop talk. But the good thing about it, you see, the thing about it, they might find something to talk. Because they can't just lie down and play dead.
All right. Thanks for the call, brother. Errol, good evening.
Hi, Ricardo. Hi, Cliff. Cliff is there?
No, he has stepped out.
All right, Ricardo.
Yes, sir.
You remember sometime I asked you about that watchman. Did you remember to do a check for me?
I did not remember.
All right. You can do a check for me if you participate in an election some time ago.
Yeah, man, will do.
Yes. Point that I want to make, Ricardo, call me cynical, but I think the Integrity Commission, along with that old lady on North Street, them do a good job, man. Them plan this thing, for the Prime Minister, Because them know that, you see, once you create doubt in a people's mind, it will go hamper the Prime Minister, Because, I can get an instant. I was talking to...
So you think it's having an effect?
I talked to some small people. For instance, when I was at church some time ago, I mentioned something come up along with the Prime Minister. And you know what one of my church brothers said to me?
What's that?
Say, to say man a thief. Oh, man, for go vote for a man. So, into that very environment, you see it's having an effect. And, I'm kind of worried, I'll tell you the truth. Because the Integrity Commission refused from certifying the statutory thing with the Prime Minister. Where are they rolling back? So when I hear Cliff say, the PMP calling out the Allied, I just think that the Integrity Commission, along with the Gleaner, is it's two of the Allied, Those are only two we can recall now, But I think there are two of the Allied that
you think the Jamaica Gleaner is an ally of the PMP?
Yes, I think them of them segregate all over the place.
I see.
And what I want to advise the public, listen and think before them go out there. Because those people do not have any plan for this country. They're only going off of gaslighting and spreading rumor and propaganda. And I want the public to think carefully and choose wisely. Choose Jamaica.
All right, Errol.
All right.
Delroy, good evening.
Hey, Ricardo, good night. How are you doing, man?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yes, what I want to say, I see a certain man born and grown Northeast sentence and leave his community, leaves everybody up there and come to Westmoreland. He say he come to represent Eastern Westmoreland. On Saturday night, he was in Central Westmoreland. Speaking about he gonna give good road, he gonna give water and all this stuff. So I consider he run in Northeast sentence and he get beaten by a lady. And now he run leave.
You're talking about Dayton Campbell?
DM1 man.
That's Northwest. Northwest.
No, he gonna leave Northeast sentence.
Northwest.
To come out Westmoreland.
He's not hearing me. Northwest St. Ann. Hello?
Huh?
Northwest St. Ann.
Northwest St. Ann, thank you. So now he could never fix his place in Northwest St. Ann, where he born and grew. In Western Westmoreland, Daniel Lawrence, born and grew in Westmoreland. The former PM, which is PJ Patterson, used to be the member of parliament for Eastern Westmoreland. And believe me, some road that I see Daniel Lawrence doing even a better tone, White House or some place down there is history. Because you have PJ Patterson was there and never do it. You have Luther Buchanan, never do it. And now this man run leave Northwest sentence where he could never done. And now he want to come out Western Westmoreland, come Eastern Westmoreland, come try to feed in care for people. If he gonna represent Eastern Westmoreland, why he have to go to Central Westmoreland to go and talk what he want to do in Eastern Westmoreland? And then that was Saturday night. Then last night I hear him say again now on Sunday they're going to Kingston, and if the Prime Minister don't call election, he gonna call it. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that the law in Jamaica changed now. So the portion of the law can call election. No, I didn't know that.
As far as I know, the law has not changed, sir.
But it come like them changing the law. So
Empty
for
chat.
me, if it wasn't like the Prime Minister even want to call it, I would can sit on Sunday and watch it and see what they can do. Because he say he's gonna call it if the Prime Minister don't call it on Sunday. So I don't know where really getting at them head. I don't really know.
All right. Thanks for the call. Yes, I did hear Dr. Campbell saying that, if the Prime Minister doesn't call it on
He might
Sunday.
go call it.
Because apparently the PMP is having their Kingston and St. Andrew meeting on Sunday, it seems.
Where?
I'm not sure, but based on what he said, he seemed to be suggesting that there was going to be a meeting. And therefore, if the Prime Minister don't call it, he might go call it. Or they might go call it. It'll be interesting to see. I always wonder if it's the high, the excitement that caused people on political platforms just to say anything.
Yeah.
It's like a hit. You get a hit. Dopamine. Yeah.
It makes you drunk.
Yeah. I see. I see. Tell me something. Westmoreland has consistently, as a parish, voted for the PNP. Is it because the parish was gerrymandered at the time, or why? Why has it supported the PNP so faithfully?
I don't know. I've never really considered that, but it has voted for the PNP consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at the history.
Consistently. Yeah. And it has produced a prime minister. It has produced several cabinet ministers.
Right.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know. Like you'd ask, up until 2001, the same question of St. Anne. Yeah. Manchester as well.
Yeah.
Has voted consistently for the PNP. Yeah. St. Elizabeth tends to be split between the north and the south. Yeah. But more competitive.
The researchers, the political researchers, must study why people continue to vote for particular political parties when there's no tangible example of progress.
Yeah.
When I drive through some of these places, now let's say I was in the country on the weekend, and I wondered to myself, why would people keep supporting a political party? And this is the state of the place. Why would you do that?
Yeah. That is the barn PNP.
Yeah, sure. And I can respect that.
So the rationality of behavior is absent.
Or is it that just that the clientelism of me might get something here and there, me personally, so I'm satisfied, never mind what's happening around me?
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
I feel better though.
But I somehow the 25 elections will indicate one way or the other whether those traditional voting behavior is beginning to wane. Yeah? Because I hear people talking more and more about, what have you done for me lately? Yeah? Why? Why should we continue with you? And listeners, Ricardo, I think we're going to have some surprises where incumbents are concerned. Incumbents, especially incumbents who have been in office for more than 2 terms.
Fitzjackson told me not long ago that his margin will be 5,000.
He's Fitzjackson?
Yes, he was on with me earlier. He said 5,000. I asked him the
So
question.
he's going to increase his margin from under 1,000. It's about 750.
It's 5,000.
He's going to, by more than 500%. He's gonna,
That's what he said.
Well.
That's all the time we have. Dana Davey, our super producer, thank you so much. Andrew Glenn Anderson is the man behind the controls. They call him Bugs. Our editor, Cara Powell, and my colleagues in the newsroom, the very best in the business. Thank you all so much for making this show possible. Our sponsors, contributors, and you, our valued listeners. We appreciate you so much. My name is Ricardo Brooks.
I'm Cliff. Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
In Jamaica, your rights are protected by